Welcome back to The Good Talk, our post-game recap and Q&A show where we discuss the game that we just played and answer all your burning questions, both Warhammer and otherwise. We just came out of an awesome game where we had the Tau facing off against the nefarious Dark Angels. And what a game it was. First of all, welcome back, Adam. Good to see you.
Hi, everybody. I was sitting here like, do I just interject and take over and be like, welcome to an evening with Adam? I feel like sitting just stately in
It's
this
like a
chair.
throne. I love
It
it.
is. Where's the pillow?
Oh, there you go.
This is my pillow now.
Yeah, I love it. And Dark Angels Martin is in chat, so he'll appreciate that. And Bridge, if you're watching it, we love Dark Angels now. We're Dark Angels channel.
That's right, Bridger. You've been replaced, superseded by someone who's way less tech savvy. That's good.
But we like your accent a lot more, so.
Yeah, it's always a bonus.
Yeah.
I will say he did think we copied and pasted all the super chats into our own thing.
I did. I was like, wow, that's a lot of extra work.
And I was like, no, we
Yeah.
just have magic doing it behind the scenes.
Yeah, we use Bridger for a couple things.
Yeah.
Before we continue, big thanks to Magnus for sending us food. Thank you.
Yo,
Thank you.
it's so much food!
Well done! Yay! Thank you.
It's like huge bags.
Well, let's pull out bags real quick because it's gonna be rustly.
Yeah.
And then we can chat.
And then we can also give some food to Natasha, who is...
Yes. Oh! Rustle.
I'm not used to such opulence on my streams.
Sorry. Yeah, we
Don't
get spoiled
even-
I
by our
know.
viewers.
Magnus
so much
is
stuff.
truly
Oh, can I pull stuff out?
a
Yeah,
god
just pull it out of the
among
bag for now. It's gonna be loud.
There's a lot of tacos. It's all you guys.
Is this?
men. It smells tasty.
Beautiful. You're doing great.
You want anything?
I love it.
Perfect right now.
Cool. All right, so that's there if anyone wants it throughout. Anyways, good to see you.
What's up?
How was
Producing.
your first day shadowing producing?
It was crazy. There's so many things going on. Even pre-show, there was a lot of stuff, a lot of clips, a lot of cool work behind the scenes.
I would say pre-show up until turn one is like the hardest part.
Yeah.
And then it goes like clockwork.
I don't know how, like sometimes you guys will start doing that stuff like maybe like half an hour before the stream.
Yep.
I'm just like, whoa, how did you, like it's just like repetition and just
Yeah.
pure skill.
You get used to it. You know what to check for.
Yeah.
But frankly, there's also a lot of scramble at the end, regardless. So probably sometimes it's too much. But every show is different, right? And you have to put up with your
Interjecting.
matchups.
Everyone check your mic.
Uh-oh.
There's some weird mic noise.
Mic
We're
check.
blaming Adrian.
It could be maybe me throwing into the mix.
Cool.
We'll see if my cable's stuck underneath, so maybe that's causing
it's
some
fine.
issues. But keep letting us know if the mics are an issue.
Yeah,
And sorry about that, Adrian.
No worries. Yeah. So lots to learn, right? But it'll be good.
Totally.
Well, we had a fantastic game.
We did.
First of all, thank you for coming on the show and bringing your beautiful Dark Angels with
Thank
this
you.
awesome Horse Heresy scheme.
Yeah. So I've got my own a total nerd. If people don't know, Art was
What?
all about fluff. You know.
yeah.
But in my universe, the lion's awake, like secretly awake
Yeah.
in the rock. And the first thing he saw when he woke up was dark green blood angels, and he killed like 4 people because he was like,
Who are you?
He thought the Calvinites had won
Yeah.
because he thought the Calvinites had won. He's like and then as soon as he woke up, he like slapped everybody around, being like, "We're black, painted black. You want to wear green? The green guys tried to kill us. We're black." And then I put the red stripe on because
It is a little suspicious. The whole green thing.
It is suspicious
Yeah.
that they wear green,
Yeah.
and green denoted the Calvinites, the rebels.
Turn off your mic for a second.
Yeah,
and
sus.
see if
Absolutely.
I love it. Well, they do look gorgeous. If you haven't seen the game, first of all, go watch it so you can see that, and also watch it because we're about to spoil everything about it.
Yes.
So, in the end, the Dark Angels definitely took the win.
Was it 9 points, 8 points? It wasn't much.
It was
close.
relatively close. I think you could see it felt like a very Dark Angels game where it's this kind of slow tide coming
Yeah,
across.
yeah.
But you also were able to do some really great moves where you accelerated that tide, right?
It did, yeah. You did all the right plays, and I thought absolutely what you did with the Crude Hounds was spot on. I thought you could have made my charge a little bit harder by
Yes.
just blocking off the minimum amount possible.
and kind of stayed to the side a bit more.
Because I was 8 inches away, which I needed to get the 6,
Right.
which I only made on the reroll as well.
Yeah, exactly.
But if I didn't get that 6, I just exposed that unit for
nothing.
What? For what? They were just I was just going to lose the 5 guys that I lost the next turn, but not be in your face next turn. So yeah, that would have been where I would have actually just.
What did you do?
Well, I put them with the blade guard up. And they do investigate signals while I res a couple of guys.
Yep.
And then try and go in next turn, get replaced by intercessors, and try and roll from there.
And use it as like a launching off point if you need to.
If I need to.
Right. Because it was kind of a masterclass in, Dark Angels players, I think when, I play Dark Angels as well, and often you're like, I need to try to get into the middle. You can't always do that easily. In this case, we had two non-breachable things right in front of us.
Yeah.
So you have to get a bit creative with how you get from point A to point B, right?
Yeah. Because they're not fast. Dark Angels, like Deathwing, anything is not fast. It was 5 inches with an advance that you can't reroll or get any pluses to.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, your screening was perfection.
Thank you.
As soon as I saw you starting to commit to the screening, I'm like, well, okay, I kind of know what to expect from this game.
Yeah.
If you had gone too hard on the screens as well, I wouldn't have left the halfway point. I would have got to the halfway point, hunkered down, and tried to stop you getting Rod.
Yep.
And just flipped. It would have been investigate signals versus Rod. You would have gotten a 4. I would have gotten a 12.
Exactly.
And I would have tried to win that way.
A lot of interesting back and forth there.
Yeah.
And it was terrifying because you were just coming at me the entire time, right? I think one mistake, I definitely made more than one mistake, I'll tell you that. But one thing that I was kicking myself was the turn that the Fire Warriors didn't really get to shoot, because I was kind of in the back going down a couple of different lanes, and you had those like 2 or 3 intercessors just sitting on a point out in the open, and my target priority was slightly off, right? And so if I had just gotten that, would have been, it would be nice to remove another asset on your backfield, because you were kind of able to sit there for another turn, frankly almost until the end, and you didn't have to pay anything for it.
What'd you feel about the Tau? Was that your first game with Tau, or third game, fourth game?
This is only my second game playing them, frankly. I played Tau Sept, True Tau Sept, was it last week? And so this was very, very different. I love the faction. I love the way that it builds. All super interesting. And someone was asking us actually on Thursday, because a while back they said, is there any faction that you don't want to play?
Yeah.
And for a while I said Tau, because frankly the old style play wasn't interesting to me as a player. Now, much more interesting and dynamic. This list tried a lot of things. There's some things I like, but frankly there's a lot of things I just kind of reinforced some of my thoughts as far as I wouldn't take them.
If I was to see your list on if one of my shows that I do a review show, sorry, a hype show for the weekend's tournaments called the Thursday Show. If I'd have seen your show, your list, I would have said either this list is confused, as in it doesn't quite know what it wants to be, or if it's just in pure like forming stage, not into norming or the stage where you know truly what a faction is when we get like a solves list. So it felt like you were just like, oh yeah, I'll just take a bit of everything. And it played like that, didn't it?
It 100% played like that, and it did its job in the sense that learned a bit about the units. I'm curious. Between all of you, we had the Riptide, we had the Hammerhead, we had the Skyray, and obviously it's not amazing to make anecdotal like conclusions, but I'm curious what your thoughts. Do you think any of these three have play in more competitive builds? Would you take just one? Do you think tripling down on one? What do you see? Like, I'm really uncertain about the position of these units in competitive play, and I'm curious what you guys think about that.
Did anything exceed your expectation on any of those units? Because they don't really stand out in the Codex outright, right?
Not particularly. Like, funny enough, the Riptide in some ways was the most consistent, but the Hammerhead, it was like single shot that kind of missed a lot. The Skyray, understandably, the utility of it, being able to maybe shoot over line of sight, wasn't relevant in this game, so that's where the anecdotal bit kind of comes in, where it's like, okay, they're not going to be able to do the thing in every game. But I was super unimpressed with all three of them, to be honest.
Was the Hammerhead bad because it's you?
Right.
Or what? Like, could Brian take the Hammerhead?
I didn't mess. So I did.
I didn't mean mess up. I meant your low rolling average. But
right.
Because 2 turns it didn't make it to it didn't.
Frankly, yeah.
And
that's the main reason I don't like it.
Hammerhead is like not the best, right? The variance of it all.
It's such a high variance.
I don't mind one Riptide.
Yeah.
I wouldn't, if I was playing Tau, it wouldn't have any Hammerheads, no Skyrays. One Riptide, and I'd probably play it with the burst. Because it gets 18 shots with a burst.
Right.
And I actually do not mind the burst into things like Custodia Bikes. Or into some other bits and pieces in the Custodes matchup. Also, it feels far better into things like Adelan Jackals, which are actually an issue for the Tau army.
Oh,
with the -1 to hit. One Marker Light, that Riptide just takes out a whole unit for you. And so that feels quite a bit better as well, because then you've got hitting on 4s, back to hitting on 4s, 9 hits, 7 wounds, then some SMS that problem is almost solved.
Yeah.
I don't mind one.
And you got so many shots there that you sort of tend more towards the average.
Yeah.
Because hitting on 3s is not a bad average. It's all about the variance that you're getting, right? So I think that's a very valid point. And
Because what the ion does, the
Yeah.
broadsides just do better. Just hands down
100%.
better. Yeah.
And it has this awkward, the awkward damage profile, going from 3 to 4 damage. Like,
Yeah.
It's very strange.
Yeah, it is.
4 damage sounds cool, but it's actually a very weird profile.
Are you shooting Alaris Terminators or Grotesques?
Right.
If you're not, pro doesn't matter.
It doesn't kill bikes anymore, because so do these bikes.
Exactly, doesn't kill bikes.
Yeah, which is crazy
yeah,
to me.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So many wounds.
So, yeah, I just wanted to kind of think about that, because obviously it was not an optimalist, but just trying stuff out, and I want to make sure we give the units a fair chance. So, having said that, we mostly talked about some LVPs. Do you have an MVP this game? Was there a unit that performed above and beyond, that maybe carried the day?
Definitely, another Eradicators.
They're well rested at this point, I'll say that.
My MVP is usually always my Ravenwing Bikes. Because they get so underestimated. They're just like, Bolter Bikes or whatever.
Right.
And then they're there to just be a nuisance. They're 90 points for 3 OBSEC models that are toughness 5, that have an invuln now, that shoot, fight, But they're like a Rhino, you know? No one wants to shoot a Rhino.
Yeah,
But as soon as that Rhino is OBSEC with an invuln, you're like, well, if I don't shoot it now, when am I going to shoot it? Because it's going to be up tapping things.
Yeah.
So usually it's my Bikes.
Yeah.
If it's not the Bikes, it's a Talonmaster. They just,
Oh my God. the
so
Talonmaster.
consistent. So consistent.
Oh, it was interesting because they played so well into the Tau, actually. Right?
Yes, exactly right.
It's like,
yeah.
we do the same thing.
Yes.
But in some ways, the Talonmaster is more flexible.
Just because of the speed, right?
Yeah, the speed. Yeah.
I do think that the Cold Star is harder to use,
Yeah.
harder to wield.
Yeah.
The Talonmaster, everyone's, I personally, as someone who's played Talonmasters non-stop, I'm so good at not getting them killed. But it feels like the Reels to Wound makes the Cold Star just a better version.
Yeah, it is, and I like that. I'm a
Yeah.
fan of the floor is higher, but so is the ceiling as
Yeah.
far as being able to play it, and the range is the main thing to play with, especially in the games where you're to the last target, which let's be honest is a lot
Yeah.
of the time. So interesting to play. But yeah, Talonmaster, I think 100%. On the Tau side, I don't know if I have an MVP. I was really happy with, frankly, all the trading units. It was all the small stuff that did its work, even the lone gun drones. Thank you for that on the Prana. So, today's MVP for me goes out to all the little guys, I think.
The little guys. How did you feel about the stealth suits? I mean, I know you like them, you're a fan of them, but it seems like a lot of points for what they were doing for you.
They were very underwhelming this game.
Yeah.
Again, partially with the Talonmaster, right?
Yep.
So that's something to kind of keep in mind is, like, if you didn't have that, they become unreliable to kill.
Where I love stealth suits is the mirror match.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
such a piece so annoying in the mirror match.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
Because how many points would you save if you just took them out, put 6 Vespid in?
Oh, a
save
ton
a
of points.
bunch of points.
A huge amount of points.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the pros of stealth is that they have all these other roles they can fulfill,
Yeah.
whereas Vespid, it's your engage and it's your R&D, frankly. But what surprised me, I was expecting to be able to use I had a Warlord trait to give OBSEC to a unit every turn.
Yeah.
Never used it once. Because frankly, I had just a bunch of OBSEC, and the stealths always had to be doing something else.
Yeah.
So there was a bit of a mismatch in the roles there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
There you go.
Well, that was the game. If you guys have any more questions, feel free to ask us. We're always down to talk about Warhammer. So with that having been said, let's dive on into some questions.
Awesome. Thank you, Caldorf. 2 awesome looking armies. Love the TM AZ conversions and the HH paint scheme. Are Black Knights on the menu for Ravenwing? Thank you for the great matchup.
Yes, I have 12 at home that I couldn't find the space to bring because they were so bad for 45 points. At 40 points, I can justify taking 5, and I actually do like 5 quite a lot. Yeah,
cool.
I've got a hybrid list. Actually, I asked you guys if you had 5.
Right.
If I had 5, I would have played 5 in this matchup.
Yeah.
It would have been the Blade Guard out. Yeah, Blade Guard out.
Wow.
The Ravenwing Apothecary goes into that detachment to make it legal. 5 Black Knights go in there, and they become, because Dark Angel's armies don't use a lot of CP. They become the CP dump.
Yep.
Every turn you can they get Azrael's buff.
Weapons
They
of
get
Refuge.
they get the extra damage, and then they charge in, kill a medium unit, and bounce out.
Right.
And so go up, kill a premium unit, which is shooting, charge a medium unit, bounce out. And so every turn you can just keep re-rolling that up. And of course, when they bounce out, they get back to Azrael's range for the buff again, to send it back in, to send it back out.
Love it.
And that's a lot of ifs and buts making that work, especially as he'll just kill him with SMS in this game. But it's an exciting unit that I've got a new lease on life.
Yeah, and it sounds like it's very rewarding for a skilled player, right?
So good. He's like,
I love it.
It was a great match. Great matchup.
Yeah, absolutely.
I will say chat is worried that the Mexican food's going to get cold, so you guys should feel free to dig in.
okay.
The worst thing is I start with my chips normally, and like those are going to be
Oh,
really
we're
great.
already
mics.
having mic issues.
Yeah,
No
how's
chips
your-
for you.
How's your mic, John?
So
People were saying-
we
not-
turned
It's dead.
John's off,
I was picking up you.
Okay.
and
Oh,
like
weird.
because I think that's
we
our
turned me
fourth
up.
Yeah,
mic. It was doing weird stuff. So
Okay.
I don't know if we
it's an old school
how
mic.
we want to do what we want to do.
Yes, sir.
But no chips for you, Adrian.
Okay,
Well,
It will get eaten though.
It will
for
get
sure.
eaten.
We're
it will
starving.
get eaten.
thank you, Art of Wa.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh,
Love to see both channels together. What would be your top 3 factions in the current meta?
Ooh, this is a good one. Should we all do our top
curious.
three?
Oh, like separately?
Yeah, and then like
Oh, I'm
sniff at
scared.
each other.
Can I go last?
I need to go first. I need to copy your answers.
So factions, no soups.
Right.
So, sad.
It's new. It's interesting because it's a new season, right? We're
Yeah.
still vetting a
Sort
lot
of
of
an
this
unknown.
stuff. So there's a lot of unknown.
We were just talking about even the event this weekend and,
Yeah.
and looking at what's going to happen. So
Yes, there's a 200 player event happening in the UK right
Yeah.
now. I think day one's just finished, and 1, 2, 3 is Tau. Tyranids in 4th, but that's Manichima.
Yeah.
And then there's 2 other players who are playing Tau in the top 10. So half the top 10 is Tau right now,
Scary.
end of day 1.
But it is day one, so that's
Yeah.
I think we can expect to see that. The question is, can they make it all the way to the end of day 2?
I agree. I think Custodes is number 1 for me. Tau is number 2. And number 3 is up for debate between Tyranids and
Drakari?
Drakari.
When you see Bridger tonight, please tell him immediately that.
Yeah.
Custodes is number 1.
Yeah, because he
We-
was so like, oh, Custodes aren't going to do it. And then like
Yeah.
Custodes like dominated at LVO and we're just like, so Bridger.
So we joked and laughed out. So Art of War, we tested we did so in LVO's gone by, it's
Yeah.
been very clear to see which is the best army in the game.
Yeah.
This LVO, there was like 5 contenders for which
Yeah.
was the best army in the game. And so we played them all,
Which is
inside
cool.
out, back to front,
Yeah.
standing on our heads, and we're like, Custodes has the most, it's not the best of the bunch, because Crush Stampede had the best performance, but
Right.
Custodes was like even good into everything. And so we're like, well, that's the most well-rounded best army in the game. And then we saw Bridger was, we saw some games and Bridger was like,
That was really good.
the Bridger grumble. Yeah.
I love it. It was so fun. You guys have heard this already, but I took Crusher Stampede in like literally round 1, and like it's essentially a variation off of like Art of War style build, and I was like, I learned right then how wrong Bridger was. So, anyways, I think that's a great evaluation. Would you change anything there?
I would say Drakari second, Tau third.
Oh,
I think
fair.
Drakari are still really, really strong in Knockman.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I actually agree with you spot on. And selfishly, I just want to ask a question. Where do you see GSC fitting in all this?
So Hive Mind right now,
Yeah.
in my mind, is the best list in the game. The
Right.
best combined list. It's the hardest to wield. It's by and away the hardest list to play of those top bracket lists. But it's got the highest ceiling, but way the highest floor.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
So for me, GSC probably sitting around 7th, 8th. Yeah.
Well, that's fair.
Only because the game is too killy. The game is too killy for GSC.
so
It's
killy.
so
only right above
insane.
orcs, so don't worry.
Yeah.
Well,
Exactly.
that's about where I put them. I put them about even with all.
Yeah. About even kill with them. Cool. Well, there you go. Top 3 is always tough, right? Because it's like, okay, top 4 or 5, then you can talk.
Yeah.
When you're trying to make the cut to top 3, that gets
Well, also,
harder.
it's like top 3 today. Tau hasn't been out long enough with the
Exactly.
new thing for you really to see.
It has to be proven.
I'm using data I've got from my mates who say
Yeah.
that the best Tau shooting phase is worse than the pre-nerf AdMech shooting phase.
Oh,
And
yeah.
They're saying it's worse than that. And I'm like, well, I have to put them top. You have to be.
Everything they see, they kill. And
Yeah.
everything that they can't see is also going to be put at
They
threat.
actually damage it as well.
Yeah.
Whereas like the Scorpius disintegrators
Yeah.
don't kill
Oh,
much
no.
from out of line of sight.
Yeah, 100%. Cool. Well, I could talk about this one forever, but
Yeah.
Thank you, Thomas Hutchinson. Hey, Titans, and Adam. Well,
Yeah.
Adam's a Titan today. Watching my first live game in a bit whilst painting some Deathwing Blade Guard.
perfect.
Champion.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for your support and perfect timing, right?
Even though I don't paint any of my guys bone, they
Yeah.
do look great in bone.
They look amazing in bone.
And
What's wrong with Bone?
No, you
If
can't.
you- if
All right,
you-
Mr. Oathway.
If you wanted to do so, do you guys know much about the heresy schemes?
Yeah.
So originally the Deathwing had the bone-colored portions of their armor to note the injuries they'd taken protecting a commander or a captain.
I don't know that.
And so if they got an arm blow, like a shoulder wound, they'd paint the shoulder and the arm bone. It steamrolled from there. And so if you wanted to paint some blade guard to anote that, just like pick different panels and paint them bone.
That's so cool.
It's cool. It's cool as hell because there was the Deathwing companions
Right.
that all kind of snowballed from. Yeah.
So your Deathwing have just they've not sacrificed anything.
My blade guard.
Or your Bloodthorn. Yeah.
So they don't get to be. So my blade guard, because the lion's waking up and he's like, Primaris, what? You don't deserve to be in a circle.
Right,
so
right.
Hence they're still assault intercessors.
Makes sense.
They haven't got all the trappings, they haven't got the tabards and stuff. He's like, you can have a sword and a board, get out of the way. And yeah.
I love it.
Well, thank you, Zlack Onion. Frankly, I hope this game goes exactly right. I want to use Airburst with my Tau, but I have like 2. Where does one get those? Hashtag legalize flash kits. I love that.
That's
yeah,
amazing.
none of the producers can actually see where we put this screen, where we're reading.
This is a classic Tau problem, right? Where it's, as the loadouts change over time, you need this and that's another thing. And frankly, I think a lot of people haven't saved them. Without knowing a specific example, I'm sure Shapeways has some weapons that you can get and print there. I'm sure you can get that. I also would give a shout out to Piper. The exception there is, though, that she sells the entire kits, right? So you did get like a suit there and it would come with guns. And then you'd have to print it yourself.
I'd like to point out that I've been playing this game competitively for many years. I have no idea what an airburst looked like. You could just stick
Right.
a bunch of stuff together and call it an airburst, and I'd be like, sure. So, yeah.
That's a very like Xenos problem, right?
It is, yeah.
Or
yeah.
lack of problem.
Yeah. So literally, if you kit bash your own if you want, and call it whatever you want,
Yeah,
and
that's
you probably
good
get away with it, as long as you're okay with TOs and such.
Yeah, just be clear. Like, this is an airburst. Cool, no
Yeah.
problem.
Awesome. Thank you, Balzan94.
Heyo.
Hey guys, I started my Tau Force last year and was drawn to Viorla's color scheme and
Viorla.
Viorla aggressiveness. How do you think they stack up against the other sets?
Viola's the red and white, yeah?
Red and white,
They're
yeah.
gorgeous. It's,
Yeah.
the best looking
It's
game.
the studio one right now,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So it's beautiful.
It's funny that they switched. They
Yeah.
dropped the kind of pukey yellow.
It's so funny, yeah. They're like, and it's not even Tau Sept anymore.
Yeah.
So,
I was about to say, yeah, chuck us the decks.
I am not the biggest fan of Viorla, sadly. Because I debated, I was like, what are we going to show today? Are we going to do custom? Are we going to do Socio? Or are we going to do Viorla?
Yeah, Viola's in like that second band for power. The top ones seem to be Tau Sept, Farsight, and Borkan.
Yep,
Depending
exactly.
which build you want to go. Borkan, for obvious reasons, because it's the Custodes counter
Yep,
build.
precisely.
Which is only really a meta pick. And they're not in the bottom. They're not like the Daleth and the down the bottom.
Good things back
So
there.
I think Viola is definitely playable.
Yeah. So a couple things that they do. Basically, start of the first turn. If you're in your deployment zone, you get +2. It's okay. Reroll advance and charge rolls. The advance roll, and funny enough, is more interesting than the charge
Yeah,
rolls
it is,
here. Warlord trait is basically another CP regen. There's already so many CP regens, I don't see you spending it. Also, especially a Warlord trait, right? Signature system is Commander, start of the shooting phase. It's a little mortal wound plink to the closest. Pretty bad.
don't take it.
The strat is interesting. It's hot-blooded. It's a mortal wound strat, so 2 command
Yeah.
points, and it is mortal wounds on 6s to wound. Unfortunately, not the sisters treatment, but doing up to 6 mortal wounds. So
So is that the +3 to move, or +2 to move when you leave your deployment zone, essentially?
it is when you're starting wholly within your deployment zone, you get +2,
It's not first turn locked or anything like
and
that?
it's at the start of your first turn. Why would they put so many restrictions on it?
All that means to me is that you're automatically taking 3 units of breaches in every list because you're even better at doing the turn 1 breacher alpha.
Yeah.
Because you've got another 2 inches of movement.
Yeah.
So on Hammer and Anvil, you're a lot more reliable than other builds who want to backline you. So that means, and plus you're taking breaches so they'll get the best mileage from the hot blooded
Yep.
as well. You get
Yep.
to do the mortal wounds in addition.
Exactly, and you can reroll your advanced rolls if you're really needing that extra range.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
I think they probably do equal best breaches with Farsight Enclaves, and that's probably your build, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally agree.
And you just assault weapons on everything.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to waste that reroll advance.
Right, and heavily leaning on Monka, what we're
Yeah.
carrying on with this.
Yeah, 100%, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Alex Martin. Currently painting Tau as I am watching the stream. I can't wait to play a Kroot list. Very excited about it.
Oh, yeah. Kroot are so cool.
I unpacked I think it was somewhere around 240 crit list on my podcast this week, or was it last week? And it's a thing. It's like Orc Boys.
Yep.
It's a thing. They just get actually legitimately good buffs. Surprisingly good.
Oh
Yeah,
my
do
God. I love it. I love it.
Thank you, Siege Roots. An Art of War member just validated my oath/investigate theory. I'm proud of myself. Obsessed with the Phobos, Aor,
Army of Renown.
Army of Renown, Ultramarine with the Lord of Deceit can redeploy 6.
6. That's
6
hilarious.
redeploys,
That's
yeah.
crazy.
What a meme. I love it.
Can you, when you redeploy that though, it has to be in your deployment zone, no?
No,
You
so
can't
the
be-
Phobos trait, if you're Phobos, you can just redeploy.
Yeah.
Okay. Ultramarines, if you have an infiltrator.
I believe that will let
outside?
you.
Okay.
I think so. And then the
I've seen,
Phobos one.
I've seen Invictus redeploying with it, haven't I?
Right, because they can do it innately.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
cool,
It's just you redeploy using the normal rules.
Yeah.
The Phobos one is also the same thing, but it only works on Phobos.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Cool.
So
That's awesome.
indirectly, yes.
Well, thank you, Derek Bressler. With core changes, should we reevaluate Anraki?
Anrakir,
Yeah, that's as good as anyone.
Okay.
Anrakir.
Anrakir?
Anrakir, yeah.
Anrakir, the Traveler, and his +1 attacks aura to core and Necrons. Even warriors with 2 attacks seem scary.
Don't you hurt my beautiful boys. They need everything they can get. I do think that the Novok Anrakir build is...
He's Novak?
No, he's not Novok. He can be anything. He's
Oh,
an agent.
okay.
So
And
but
he-
he gives any core unit +1 attack within
That's
6.
cool,
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah, it actually is good. It actually
I've never looked at this character in my life.
Yeah, Enrique the Traveler, he's legit. Yeah.
That's awesome.
I think he's. So I'm assuming this gentleman has been bad touched, or woman has been bad touched by
Yeah.
the Enrique +1 bubble.
Yeah, it's nasty.
Because a lot of people are taking Scorpic Destroyers and Wraiths now,
Yes.
giving them +1 attack. I think good for them, more the better. So I'm sorry to disagree.
No, totally. Necrons all day.
Well, thank you, Mick Duche, 96. Commander Mike
like what you did there.
Tyson in the house to bring home the belt. Love the new Tau decks. Mon-Ka is great, and Kion is awesome for playing cagey and patient.
The new book is so cool. It's powerful and fluffy, and I think it's great.
I think this is the best Tower book they've ever had
I agree.
because it's actually
Well,
well
that's a
rounded.
statement.
Yeah.
It's actually well rounded. Well, every other one they've had ones that have been more powerful,
Sure.
but never had one that went past. Oh, here is your 3 good units. There is your army. This one feels like you can actually play most of, if not the whole range, and so that just means better to me.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Spencer Kristen. Hey, yo, good luck. Got a Crone game tomorrow. How's this? Laz, Tourney Librarian, 10 Intercessors
Okay.
with Aber, 10 Assault Intercessors, 10 DW with S Bolter, PF/CF,
Yep.
Primaris Apothecary, 3 Outriders, 6 Eradicators. Let's go Dangles!
Dangles.
Hey.
That seems pretty well rounded. If you're going into Crons, that's a fine list. I question why take any Assault Intercessors as Dark Angels. I don't really get much out of it. I love Lazarus being in there, but it's not going to matter against Necrons anyway because they don't do many mortals if they're not, especially if they're not Mephrit. Term Me Libby's good. I was tempted to bring a Libby to this one because Investigate Signals, Oath, and thing. Cool.
It's so Dark Angel.
Did Ezekiel make it to the middle of the table? 45 points in the secondary. Thank you very much. It's absurdly powerful.
That's amazing.
Yeah, because you're just going to get 50, you're going to get 45 if you just stand within 6 inches of the middle. It's pretty nuts.
That's so cool.
Yeah, this is fine. Unfortunately, Outriders too many points for what they do. Unfortunately, if you're willing to drop the Assault Intercessors, take some Incursors or Infiltrators so you can do the turn 1 Investigate Signal.
Yeah.
Because naturally, there's 3 points gone begging in my game because I couldn't get turn 1. And then do what I did. Take some regular spikes. They're good.
Yeah. Sweet.
Sorry, took over.
No, that's
Perfect.
Dangles.
Thank you, Cultist Chan C. Hey, TTs. Was
Yo.
feeding War Dog some Chaos Crunch and list planning Death Guard and
Chaos Knights.
Chaos Knights.
Chaos Knights, NPC, 3 by PBC, 1 FBD, Tally, 1 Plas Cannon, 7 War Dogs with 1 Psyker, summon 2 by 6 Furies.
What?
That's a lot of vehicles.
I love it.
Love it.
That's so wild. What's FBD in this case?
Fetid
Yep.
Blow Train.
Feather
Yeah.
Blow Train.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Yeah. I like that list a lot. I love the summoning in Chaos Knights. In
Yeah.
Poland, there's two of the best players in
Yeah.
Poland have just been playing mono Chaos Knights with like 300 points of summoning, and then just like all the stuff to do your banners, and your
Right.
rod, they just summon in.
Oh my
So they
God.
actually get to play good secondaries.
That's
It's
so
actually
crazy.
pretty clever, really clever.
And you just get it on a War Dog.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
wild.
And just summon
So you're not
any
sacrificing them.
character. Yeah.
That's wild. I love that. Oh my God. And Fury, I'm a big fan of Furies.
Furies are
they're
amazing.
fantastic.
Yeah.
That's super cool. Yeah. Nothing else to say.
Awesome. Thank you, Michael Cody. Have a weekend so good that you're happier than me having figured out Adrian's master plan, destroy all the terrain in the world, then sell your own.
It's so true. Look, I haven't broken any Titan terrain on stream, so you know
It's
what?
durable.
It is durable, even against me. So there you go.
If you hit it hard enough, will it just flat pack back down?
It's surprisingly hard.
Yeah.
Our cat has tried to lay on one of the buildings
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
was really upset that the buildings didn't pop down.
Were you tempted to do a montage of testing its durability where you get someone a luchador master drop an elbow on it?
Yeah.
At
He
the,
bounces off of
at
it.
the LVO booth, actually, we actually stacked knights and we were playing Tetris with all the vehicles and
Yeah.
stuff. So
Well, that's funny because
We
people
were
are like, is
trying.
it actually durable? And we're like, we're trying to crush it, frankly.
Because you do went through rigorous testing and it's just you guys with a huge sack of dice, just how many dice does it take to break? Yeah.
Like tossing it across the room.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Robo71C.
Heyo.
Hey, Titans. Wanted to get a take on GSC Nephite spam list Pauper Princes, HQ's Patriarch Primus, Icon Ward with Trendy Relic, 120 Neos with ML, 5 Aber, 5 Meta, Nexos with Cranial Sanctus.
Sweet. So we were just talking about this. I think Pauper Prince is very relevant, more relevant than ever, frankly, with Tau, not just regular AP, but frankly SMS being able to shoot on line of sight. So I'm a big fan of bikes with the invul, getting the -1. You can play out of line of sight. I also do like the big squads of neophytes, but I think one of the strengths of GSE is their ability to trade and put out mega cheap units. So I think you're doing yourself a bit of a disservice by having so many of these big blobs. So I'd maybe take some of those, split them up into small ones for just jumping out scoring. Like GSE are absolutely fantastic at the new secondaries. You can just go into the GSE list and have this plethora of secondaries to pick from. So just make that adjustment, I think. But I think the overall concept's in the right direction.
cool.
Cool.
Yeah.
We got it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Heis Rosenheim. Again, so in general, isn't it better to do Monka if you're going to second so that the enemy comes closer and Kion if you're going first?
I don't think quite. There's definitely a back and forth reaction, but I don't know if that is it. So
I think the nuance on those two is yet to be properly delved into, because that is a good take, generally, if you're just generally speaking, if you don't build into either. And I think that you have to build into one.
Yeah.
Because it's very hard to have one army that's just going to be good at both.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, the way that missions play and the way the game is played at 9th edition, you want to front end everything. Everything is so killy, and the need to put things onto objectives every turn means that you're going to bleed out no matter what you do, unless you're custodians or knights, you're going to bleed out half your army over the game anyway.
exactly.
So those things units need to be doing things before they die, and Monkar's the one that lets them do stuff before they die. So e.g., build into Monkar, I think, and then I think in the mirror match, pick Carrion.
Oh,
Yeah.
right, because you're just going to want to be tagging.
You want to
tagging
hang
each other.
back, you want them to hang back, you want to yeah.
That's super fascinating. Yeah, I think as an example, there is a faction that actually gets more powerful as you get throughout the game. This is of course Drakari. But the trick is with them though, they are also able to play these early game trades so efficiently that they're not sacrificing things. Whereas with Tau, if you're going Kion over Monka, you're actually actively sacrificing those units going forwards or the efficiency of them. So, because it's that's yeah, go ahead.
I can't love Carrion. The 12-inch range band when you're playing to stay back.
In the latter half of the game, too?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So if you took that against Dark Angels, I'm like, well, stubborn defiance while we stand. Carrion's never going to come up.
100%.
Unless you start yeeting at me turn 3, which is what I want you to do anyway. I'm going to come meet you in the middle, and I'm going to win that exchange regardless.
Yeah,
So to me, Carrion is like a 10% pick, and Monkar's a 90% pick.
Yeah, it's good evaluation.
Thank you, Jonas Anderson. Adam, love your podcast. Do you think Tau's biggest impact will be killing large targets or the no loss shooting making objective play hard?
One guess? The no line of sight shooting is going to be the impact on the game. We have stacked terrain up so hard and so heavy that things like hammerheads don't have an impact unless you let them. And then when they do, what were they shooting? They were shooting it to a transhuman-esque or some way to limit the impact that they have. So 100% it's the SMS and the airburst, and I'm really hoping it's not as bad as I think it's going to be. Because in my head, it's like the doomsday clock just doom.
Yeah.
And that's with some foreknowledge of what Eldar might look like as well.
It's really, well, I don't be extreme, but yeah, it's a concern for sure.
Well, but we stack so much terrain on the tables that these builds are almost by necessity. Oh, I'm a shooting army. Do I either take the things that need BIC stuff or not? And of course, it's not because I'm a shooting army.
Yeah.
You know, all well and good when you're ad mech and you can do both.
Right.
But you're not. You're the ad mech list without the rust stalkers, without the punchy bots.
Yeah.
And so it's the only thing you can do. You have to do the one that you're going to be able to do every turn.
Yeah, and I think there's a potential for it to be overlooked for now because of this other thing, which they are good at, single targets, shooting big things. We're coming out of, I think, a meta of Crusher, Stampede, Thick City, big targets. So yes, Tau are good at that, and I think people are going to be focusing on the fact that they can deal with that. I'm like, this is what Tau does. But as we sort of transition with the meta and also the new missions, frankly, into it not being all these big monsters and big things, then the second aspect of ignoring line of sight is going to become more important.
Yeah, and you're talking about the kind of waves the meta goes through because we had a big MSU wave when Drakari was spearheading that, which we had a little horde phase in there as well.
Yeah,
actually, with all the Rangers and Vanguard and stuff. And now we saw the big thick wave, the thick wave, the girthy wave. But it's pretty much so there are some things coming up which people are assuming happening. Crusher Stampede is assumed to be not going to be a thing or valid in the new Tyranny Codex. Hasn't been confirmed anywhere.
Right.
But it's
an assumption.
Assumed.
Yeah.
And we just saw nerfs come down to Thick City in the Drakari build. In addition to, we saw nerfs come down to the Ramshackle build as well for Orcs, which has been forgotten. So we're thinking the thick wave is receding, and we might be going into more of an MSU thing. And if that's the case, well, the big stuff isn't going to be as the hammerheads don't get as much mileage and
and conversely, all that the airburst and the SMS becomes absolute money. Oh my god.
And it's also some assumptions, some foresight here as well. What's one thing that Eldar, if they keep the same parameters on a lot of their powers, are good at? Doom, Jinx, dunking big squads, dunking big things.
Yep.
So another reason why we might be sort of seeing more of an MSU build.
Very valid point. Now that's the weather on the meta.
Thank you, Edward Langley. Hey guys, longtime viewer, first time super chatter.
Welcome.
I'm planning to start an army after 15 years out. Torn between 40k, Custodes, or New Eldar if the Codex is cool, or going LOTR SBG High Elves. Thoughts?
Nice. So Lord of the Rings SPG? But Lord of the Rings High Elves, right?
Yeah, I don't know what SPG is.
Something special battle game.
Yeah.
Super battle game. So okay. Obviously, I'm biased, but I will say this. I have loved the Lord of the Rings game in the past. I'm a big fan of Lord of the Rings, but I think you can't underestimate the power of having community and continued support to a game. So, frankly, I think this is a huge, huge thing. Moving forwards, there's support. There's lots of people that are playing. You'll be able to find them to play, and I think you can't underestimate that. So, for that reason, and not because it's my favorite game, I would say 40k, and I'd say go New Eldar. This is a great time to get into Eldar.
Yeah.
Both really good choices, though. I'm glad you're into both.
Yeah.
We're both Eldar players here.
So. Yeah. That's right.
I just say if you like the new Eldar models, that's your call. If you don't like the new Eldar model, or the Eldar models that you like, or the fluff you like, the Eldar models aren't the new stuff.
Yeah.
Like Striker Scorpions. I'm not crazy about the new Shining Spears, but mind you, I'd like what else were they going to do to them?
Yeah.
Like to make them more interesting. I don't know why. But Custodes, like, you can't go wrong as well, and especially if you're jumping back in after 15 years, you can jump into Custodes very, very quickly, very easily.
Yep.
Painting's very quick as well. I don't think you can go wrong
That's
with
a
either
good
of those
point,
choices.
Yeah.
Custodes, Custodes is a friendly starter army.
Yeah.
But if you like the look of Custodes, like generally people who play elves don't play big chonky boys.
Yeah, it's true.
Like,
Chunky boys.
True.
so I think there's like an aesthetic preference, but if you love both armies, then just, Custodes might be the easy intro.
It's definitely the easier of the two, for sure.
But ¿por qué no los dos?
Oh,
Yeah.
dangerous.
Yeah,
I'm
speaking
just
of,
gonna look in.
no, you should definitely,
Speaking of Spanish.
yeah. Adrian's like, that
love
sounds
it.
like food.
Oh my God, so good.
You are welcome to walk off camera and
Yeah?
hand over a
Okay.
box or two.
Yeah, please do.
Would
Please
you
do.
like? Are these all the same or?
I have
Who
no
knows?
idea. So far, they've all been different.
Yeah, I think
Oh.
seems like a sampler. I know there's a quesadilla somewhere
might-
in here.
Oh my
But
goodness.
they're mostly tacos and chips.
I might try to grab a plate. Let's see. 'Cause we're gonna make a mess.
Yeah, we
I'm
are
going to
gonna
give one of
make
these to my partner. Back.
Well,
I'm here with you.
awesome. It's just me and you. And so if it's just me and you, we're going to tell you go Eldar. Thank you, True Sherlock. Hey, yo, Titans. Today I got the new Eldritch Omen box,
Yes.
and now I can see a Dark Angels game. Today was a good day for chaos.
Stabby. Where's the
Sure.
digger?
Forks?
The digger, you know,
The digger for digging? What do you guys do down there?
in Australia.
Yeah.
We stab our food
You dig for your
repeatedly.
food.
How else are you going to eat it?
Right.
You gotta kill it first. In
Exactly.
Australia.
I will say the Australia because his grandfather's from Australia and I'm from like the middle of nowhere, Arizona. And when we talk about things, it's the exact same.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
I'm like, yeah, you had to check things for scorpions and snakes and for spiders and like the dry and like when there's new constructions, everything comes out of the ground, so that's a dangerous time. And then we mesh. Arizona, Australia, same place.
Very similar.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to go there.
I took Adrian to our first date. We went ostrich fishing. That was fun in Arizona.
Yeah.
I'm a
John's
born and
face.
raised California boy, so I'm like, I don't stereotypes all that. I don't believe in that. And then we like drive in there and like literally it's like cartoon desert, like cow skull, cactus. You know, the hawk screech above as it's like the midday sun. I'm like, wow, okay. Yeah. But anyways, that's awesome, True Sherlock. We love the new box. We love the new models. Eventually, Chaos Space Marines will get a second wound.
Yes.
And the Eldar stuff is obviously super exciting. We cannot wait for this book. So, enjoy.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Evan Tuminello. Hello to the whole Titans crew. I know we were all in chat today.
Everyone.
First super chat for me. What a special day.
Hey, welcome.
I love your content and super excited for Tau. Great to see those Crudy boys. I didn't know you could run like 240 Crude.
You can.
That's-
Those are troops, right?
That's horrifying.
Don't quote me on the number, but yeah, you can run a
It's
lot.
somewhere.
It's a lot.
Is the max squad size 20?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which they have great buffs, you know, and they're cheap. They forward deploy. Frankly, the crew hounds are great for trading as well. So yeah.
That's awesome.
How is the Mexican food?
It's so good.
Oh my god, right.
It was good.
I spend some fair bit of amount of time out of the country every once in a while, and Mexican food's always the thing that I like miss
Yeah.
the most. So, thank you, Heis Rosenheim again. So Goffs versus Tau, Gaz plus 2 detachment, 1 Waboy in M2x10 Beastin, 10 Grots, 5 Commandos, 5 Storm Boys, 1 Scrapiet?
Scrapjet.
Scrapjet. 3 Squig Boys, Boss on Squig, 3 Mega Knobs, 1 Truck, to be continued.
Oh.
Okay. Oh no. Oh, there we go. A little bit farther down. 1 War Trike, 10 Boys, 2x10 Grots, 5 Commandos, 5 War Bikes, 3 Death Coptas, 1 Squig Buddy, 2,000 points on the nose. Also, great job, Mel and John, as always. I thought it was
Mostly
just going to be for reading that super chat alone.
This is a cool list. It's Rich Kilton kind of style, where it's a lot of tools that you have here, lots of trading, which is cool. If I was to be nitty gritty, well, actually, let me see. Again, things I worry about against Tau. That's something to think about with orcs. SMS. So trucks are interesting and useful. I'm really unsure about kill rig, but I mentioned it because it's also transport. So maybe consider some trucks in here. Your 5 commandos, 5 storm boys. I would make them 6 nowadays, frankly. Orcs are one of the factions that have got hit by a few like shadow nerfs recently, and that's one of the big ones. They used to be kind of kings of doing those secondaries, but I think now I'm personally looking at taking 6 mans of those things.
Yeah, I totally agree.
I think the single scrapjet doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I'd really love to see rocket trucks in this list, especially at versus Tau. I actually quite like rocket trucks. It's because they're neg 2, yeah? They're strength 5, and they go neg 3 in the war turn.
Yep. Which he has Gaz, so he'll get both.
Exactly, he'll get both. So I think you want to make use of that. I'd try and squeeze just 2 rocket trucks in there. They'll tilt games hugely when you don't want to throw away a huge amount of stuff turn 1.
Yeah.
And when you do, they'll clear the screens to make your boys get in.
That's a good point. I think he has 1, so drop the scrapjet and go in on a second one, and that fixes that right there. That's
Awesome.
cool. Yeah.
Thank you, JW. FSE, 5 anti-tank crisis, 4 bodyguards, 3 broadsides, 2 breacher fishes, stealth suits, ghost keel, far sight, melee enforcer, and burst star for competitive ?
I like it. It's very trim. Like there's not much fat for trading and things like that, which maybe could be fine. I'm curious what you guys think. I personally like it, so I think maybe I could have some personal bias here as far as wanting a few more little trades in there.
Did you like the ghost kill last time?
Well, you already know the answer to that. I felt like it was a bit of a liability and rather just to the last with another commander or something. You've got broadsides. 4 crisis, 4 bodyguards. Oh, it's a crisis and bodyguard block.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
I don't. So what does it mean by the burst stars and the one you ran?
Basically like what I ran,
Yeah.
I think you could fit one more, because I had one more hard slot. I just put a shield because I just didn't really have drones.
So this is true detachments, yeah? Because he's got Enforcer, Burst Star, and Farsight. And Farsight's not a Supreme Command, is he?
No, but they still get, you can do 2 commanders with Farsight.
Yeah,
so.
that's 3.
There's 3 in here?
Farsight,
Okay, yeah, so you have a
yeah.
patrol as well, at least, yeah.
So that'd be my take. I feel like you want like some cheap crap. You want some Kroot, you want some Vespid, you want some whatever. And I'm assuming it'd be, you probably are not a huge fan of doing this, but you could drop one of your commanders, drop a whole, condense into whatever detachments you've got. You could get another troop unit to make this a battalion, and then you sub out the stealth suits for probably 2 units of Vespid. And then your rod game's better, your engage game's better. And you probably got like 50 points left over for like a Kroot screen if you wanted to get some. Because right now, what I worry about with this army is that everything I charge as the opponent's player is a good charge.
Yeah.
I don't have any. There's no fat. Everything just gets to punch something good, and something you care about losing. You want some crap to throw out. So if you go first, you don't have to use a good thing as a trading piece.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Luis Martinez.
Yo.
Awesome stuff, guys. Tao's rule question. Can attached marker drones work in units that can move?
There's a.
Is it contentious?
I'm going to say yes.
I would say yes.
As intent and the rules as intended, yes. But as it stands right now, questionable. This is really good refried beans.
Yeah?
Delicious.
There you go, simple.
I know, I do want to put dibs on some of the rice and beans. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Because as written, it would shut off. They wouldn't be able to shoot, right? Only the marker light would be able to shoot.
Yeah.
Which is a problem also with Pathfinders, too. So, yeah.
Because it explicitly says the rules of the unit do not confer, like to stop them from getting a bunch of other stuff. But
Yeah, exactly.
that's one where they're like attached, so it should.
Yeah, it's a baby in the bathwater. But the Tau FAQ should hopefully clear this kind of stuff up. So, there you are.
Thank you, William. How are white scars in the meta? Please build me a list worthy of Mordor. I mean the con. List worthy of the con.
Thank you, Will. That's amazing. So, again, talking about meta, I think White Scars were particularly hit in the land of -1 damage, which, frankly, we're not out of, but there's less of it now. So, I think it's kind of the case of there are certain... You're good. There's certain kind of staples of Space Marines, right? I think that things are changing and moving around right now, but frankly, I would still look at... I love Vanguard vets with Lightning Claws. They're kind of the kings of that. So do Lightning Claw and Storm Shield, so you can be tough and tanky and flexible and all that stuff. Frankly, I would lean into that in a way. I think a unit of Blade Guard's still interesting, even if you're White Scars. I know it's not like a White Scars unit. And Infiltrators, as always, right? I think... Would I do... Would you go in Curses with White Scars, or... I
don't know. I guess so. It's cheap. I feel like... Sorry. There's a not... You don't really want to shoot too much in, with player-placed terrain and stuff. You're not going to be able to. So I think just a melee army just feels better, and Cursors let you do that.
I'm always torn because I like Infiltrators a lot, but just thinking of White Scars in the current meta.
I'm more of a Infiltrator guy.
Yeah, me too.
So I think the double dev Rhino is mandatory at the moment. Still in the semi-thick environment, and with Tau being a thing, I think they're very good to get an angle on things on broadside. So that is a Rhino with Toon's Devastators in it, and pick your poison for your meta. Usually it's 3 multi-melters, 1 grav cannon with a cherub and a. Of course, you already get the +1 to hit guy for being them. In a Rhino, because then you can move the Rhino, disembark the contents, ducka, shoot for your life. In Art of War, we were tossing around a big unit of Vanguard vets with fists or thunderhammers.
What?
Yeah.
Madness.
Because we were like, what is going to actually do anything into Custodes? And what is the same unit that's gonna really can kill 2 big Griblies against Crusher, can kill a whole unit of Talos. We ran the numbers this thing just ices 3 Talos. It kills whichever Gribbly through a 4+ invulnerable save, doesn't matter, and it'll kill a unit of 3 bikes hands down, no problems. And we're like, but is it worth the 350 points to just throw this unit away?
Right.
So that's something you should look into. If that tickles your fancy and you're willing to have that big unit, you can pretty much just play MSU everything else and just have that big unit and your Rhino and just, bits and pieces.
Totally.
Thank you, Fire Tyrant. Hey Titans, I have to return again. Another victory under the sisters' belt against New Tau, 83-40.
Wow.
Push in their weak side. So
Jeez.
with the way ninth is, what do you think could make vehicles better in ninth ed?
Oh. Ooh, I'll let Adam start with that one.
Adam's like, I wanted to start with a taco.
They should be able to fall back and do whatever they want. It's a vehicle. It's a vehicle. Like, why should it care about being tapped? Like, why should it care? It should be able to fall back and just do whatever it wants. Still susceptible to being wrapped. And secondly, if you get charged by a vehicle, it should hurt.
Yeah.
You've just been hit by a truck. Why is it hit on 6s? It hit you. It's made it into combat. Like, it made the charge. Like, you got hit. It should do something. It should really do something, yeah.
That's been a
my hot
contentious thing throughout a lot of 40K, right? It's like, there used to be the, what were they called? You'd have to do the check when they like run over you. And they've tried many different things throughout the years, but I'm also definitely a proponent of this. Like, even tanks like some of the guard super heavies that can do at least something, like that feels better. There's more utility, because right now it's just like, you just get tagged, you get touched, and it's done. So, what he said.
What do you guys think of vehicles counting as like more models on like for a point or something? Because like we're starting to see that with like monsters and stuff.
Right.
Custodes.
I'd be cautious, because I think, personally, I want to see diversity on the battlefield, and right now, I think they're starting to tune in on the idea of like, okay, there's reason to be OBSEC, which for a while meant like, why would you take troops, because there's so many ways to make things OBSEC. Well, okay, now actually being troops also matters sometimes. In certain cases, you want MSU, but sometimes it's a liability because you get killed. And it's the same thing with counting for lots of models, right? I think one of the reasons that Crusher Stampede is so crazy is the fact that they count as a lot of models, and you can get OBSEC where you need it. So my concern with making vehicles count as more, just innately, is that it's like you're getting double duty. Like a transport, the usefulness of a transport is that it transports. Shouldn't be that it also is good at holding a point. I'm not saying I'm blanket against it, but I would say maybe you could cautiously give it to certain vehicles to give them more play.
Cool. It's interesting.
It's a good point.
AOS has it and stuff. So.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, thank you, Andrew Clare. Finally got to catch y'all live. No question, just happy to be here. I hope you're having a great trip, Adam. Cheers from San Francisco.
Oh, nice.
Nice. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much, Andrew. Thank you, Flavius Belissaurus.
Yo.
Go, Adam. Greetings from a Kiwi in Australia. Massive thanks to all the Titans for the amazing community you have created. Any advice for a Knights player trying to play Knock Moon secondaries?
Imperial Knights, I assume. Okay. Because we did talk about summoning for Chaos Knights, which is a first for me, so I'm intrigued. Knockmoon secondaries.
Their new secondary.
What is it?
What is their new one?
It's like hold back and do stuff. Or
No, yeah, it's to be outside your deployment zone or something.
Is there? I'll grab the book. We'll see.
Yeah.
Again, I remember the Chaos
It's
Knight
probably
more.
better than what you had before.
Yeah.
See, like, you almost have to take to the last,
Yeah.
but it's so bad to take to the last. What I'd love for you to be able to do is take to the last on Helverins. So you got, because you just one big knight,
Yeah.
a bunch of carpet of little knights, like have a Castellan at the back of the board or a Crusader. Their data sheets are so bad by 9th edition. They don't have enough wounds, not resilient enough, they don't kill enough. Like nothing feels good. Outside the Megara. The Megara still feels very good.
Yeah.
What's our secondary?
What is that secondary?
Yeah, if you could take to the last and like have like a Helverin stay on the back, it's very intuitive of like, or like same theme of staying outside of the deployment zone.
So first bad news is it's in Battlefield Supremacy. That's the first bad news, because that's a category they can already play relatively well. If you select it at the end of your turn, you get up to 5 points. 2 points if you control half or more of the total objectives on the battlefield, and one knight is within range of each of those. What? Score 2 points if there's no enemy units that are wholly within your deployment zone. So it's like a terrible horde to prey. And then score 1 point as long as there's no Imperial Knights models from your army. What? Right. Basically, as long as none of your Imperial Knights ended up closer to your back edge than they started. And no Imperial Knights fell back, which is one of their superpowers, is falling back and doing everything. and it can be scored in the first round. So, frankly, you're going to stick with your engage or your stranglehold. These are things that your army is already quite good at, so it doesn't help you there. You guys' other feedback is still helpful. And truth be told, I don't think that they were really affected by the new secondaries per se. You know, they didn't have rotters that were doing certain things that can't anymore. You know, so still to the last, grind them down, which is always a scary one. But again, with some of these armies that want to be trading, it's still useful. And then the tough thing is, I think a lot of the time. Actually, I take it back. They did get hurt a bit because I think mission secondaries, as an old book,
They lost their.
they lost that basically, and that's something that, frankly, that was a big hit to the remaining 8th edition books. Is they can't rely on that.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I really worry about knights because they're like you're forced to take to the last and strangle or engage, and then you just don't have a third anything. I was really hoping they'd give him something. I was really hoping they'd give him like the ability to do actions in exchange for shooting a gun or something.
That would be so cool.
Like cool, your warden can't shoot his big gun.
Right.
Yeah, that one whole arm can't be shot. So that means, you know, if you've got a warden, that means no flamer, no gatling. You can shoot your nipple guns, whatever.
Exactly.
And that would make sense. Like one primary weapon, and you get to do an action.
Right.
Bit of give and take there. But as it sits right now, yeah, it's rough. I think until they get a book, play what you love. That's it.
Yeah. Well said.
Well, thank you, Thomas Greer. Howdy and a warm welcome, Ozzy from Three Amigos.
Heyo.
This is an epic matchup and very excited for this crossover game. Would love to see more in the future. What do you hope to see in a refresh for Marines?
For Marines.
Ooh.
Yeah, we were talking about Marines kind of, they're not in a bad spot, but they definitely took a lot of hits recently for a lot of the things that we've sort of mentioned. I'll tell you what I don't want. I don't want them to come out and be crazy overpowered because it's just like the Tau. The thing we said before the Tau book came out is I want people to be fine fighting Tau. Like, let's be honest, Tau get a really bad rap and people just want to play it. I don't want someone to feel bad for playing their army. Marines can sometimes have the same thing where they come out and they're just so crazy powerful. And that sounds like a good thing for your army, but it actually is really frustrating because everyone doesn't want to play you, right? So I want them to come out and be a good, well-rounded, all-around army. Now that's a very abstract way of saying what I want for them, but that's what I want for them.
Yeah, I think the key word there is well-rounded. I don't know. I guess stratagem updates. Definitely not like data sheet updates, right? They don't need like extra AP or extra strength or anything, right? It's more of keep them up to date with all the other cool gimmicks that are out there. Maybe OPSEC on command, things like that.
I'd like to see doctrines matter a bit more. I mean, because remember when doctrines came out?
Yeah.
If the doctrine system was launched now, it wouldn't get nerfed. No one even asked for it to be nerfed.
Yeah.
But because it came out in 8th edition, it was the most powerful thing anybody'd ever seen. You compare that now to Admech Canticles, Montcar and Calyon. It's pretty equivalent.
Yeah.
Like it's pretty comparable. So if they did, I'd like to see a reworked doctrines again to make them sexier, make them more interesting, make them a bit spicier.
Awesome. Thank you again, Flavius Belisarius. Please don't ever get rid of the Q&A portion of Titans. I love the battle reports, but live for Bridger and Zach's hot takes. Where else can I hear about the Primarch dating Moors?
I don't know.
What is Adam's Primarch husband?
Oh, yeah.
Who is the Lion spoken for? I wouldn't date the Lion anyway. He'd be a hard taskmaster.
Immediately walks it back.
Walks that back.
Yeah. Sorry?
That was immediate.
You walked that back
Walked it
real
back right
quick.
away.
Yeah, I did. Yeah. He'd be a horrible partner. It's impossible to impress.
That's valid.
Who's spoken for? I know Fulgrim spoken for. Is Lorgar spoken for?
Yeah, these are all people.
Gulliman's spoken for.
Yeah.
Corvus, I think.
And Dawn?
Dorn. No, nobody's dating Dorn. Vulcan. Brian's dating Vulcan. You're with
Lehman Russ.
Lehman Russ. And what was yours?
Either Corvus or the other guy.
The other guy.
No.
Night Hunter.
You're not dating the Ninth
Yeah,
Hunter.
so it's the
You're
Corvus.
dating Corvus. Yeah. So yeah, Dorn. You could date Dorn. Yeah.
It's too dour. It's too boring. I need someone who matches my passion.
Ah. Okay.
We got Angron.
Angron.
Let's do it. It's spicy.
I'm into it. It would definitely be interesting for sure.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Well, in the where else, there is that one. Didn't we clip them all together, or someone clipped them all together?
There's a video of like the first part of the saga because this is like 1 million super chats long of like.
Yes,
It
I
started off
remember.
as the dating show, right?
remember.
And so there's the beginning of it. I think
Yeah.
we recorded the second half.
It's
but
Almost Human?
around-
Started it?
Variant Human. Yeah.
Variant Human, yeah.
Legend.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Riley Sullivan. Hey, all. I won't be able to finish watching this game live, but I got to play D&D. But just wanted to say thanks for this awesome game. I hope to see Adam again. He's pretty darn cool.
Thank you.
We agree.
That's cool.
We'll fly him out soon.
Yeah, I heard about that 19-hour flight. That doesn't sound like a...
Yeah, I'll just bounce back and forward every other week.
It'll be fine. It'll be
For a
fine.
game, yeah.
Yeah.
Just one game.
Exactly.
I mean, that's pretty... Like, Brian in the Bahamas is here quite a bit.
Yeah.
Right?
It's a little shorter though.
Just a little.
Less
just
than
small.
half.
Thank you, Hugh Murphy. Hey, guys, I love the matchup. Adam, say hi to John for me when you get back to Art of Warhouse. Let's go, Aussies.
Thank you very much, Hugh.
What's
The
up, Hugh?
champion.
Wow.
Well, thank you, Greenblood Crusade. Great game between Adam and
Not
Adam and not Adam.
Yes. Yes.
Adam started strong, but not Adam really stuck in there. Love you guys.
That's amazing.
That's a joke from my streams.
Oh, yeah?
From my commentary. Yeah. Because for a while there, I had a rotating guest with me. It was like me. I was doing all the FLG streams with like a different person, and
Yeah.
so Adam and not Adam.
Adam and not Adam.
Yeah.
That's
That
fantastic.
works for me.
Look, they're not wrong.
They're not wrong.
But I'm on your show, so it's Adrian, not Adrian.
Yeah. Well,
to be respectful.
we do actually have a similar thing. This is anime Adrian right here.
Yep.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh crap.
Yeah,
Kind
yeah.
of
You are,
Adrian is Adam.
you are quite Shinji-like in the shape of your head.
That's Australian Adrian. Oh wait.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, aren't you also
That's why I was
Australian,
like, wait, that doesn't
Adrian?
quite work.
Ask me what my favorite anime is.
What's your favorite?
Berserk.
Wow.
Dude.
Oh, no.
You set him off.
Yeah.
All right, no.
Every year I'm like, do I get the tat? Do I get it right here?
Yeah.
The brand.
I can't believe the
La
writer,
Queen. Huh?
the writer passed away recently.
I know. Yeah. He wrote down everything though. Apparently, he had the whole thing planned out for his understudies to finish. So
Oh, yeah.
Jeez.
he wasn't going to George R. R. Martin in it.
Just so you know, your partner is off camera right now, just shaking their head about that tattoo
It's
idea.
such a nerd. Yeah.
You nerd.
Well, thank you, Dustin Reed. After years of waiting, finally playing Tau. Any tips for crisis suit loadouts? Should you diversify weapon types? Shout out to the South Sound League of Extraordinary Weebs from the Gold Imperialator.
God
The timing on that.
God
Imperialtor.
Imperialtor?
I think
Yeah.
you nailed it.
I'm doing great.
Sounds like a car.
Reading is hardy
Yeah,
hard
no,
hard.
What's the big four-wheel drives that you guys have got here? That everyone
SUV?
Like?
Hummers?
Yeah, but they're like the gangster ones, the rapper ones.
The
Escalades?
Cadillac?
Yeah, the Escalades.
Escalade, yeah.
The God Escalade.
Yeah.
It's just like it's like a golden throne
Imperial
Escalade. It comes down the strip.
That's amazing. So let's see, crisis loadouts. I'll start just abstractly. I think right now, so in the new book, there's this paradigm of every repetition of a gun you take costs more. So with a couple exceptions, my philosophy has been take different guns, but ones that fulfill similar roles. You want to be able to focus down and not have to split too much and be at different range bands and stuff like that. So that's kind of been my philosophy. You know, you're pairing like your cyclic ion with your missile or your fusion or plasma, and if you want to go tons of shots or close range, you might go something else. Curious what you guys think on that.
I'm of the homogeneous is best type. I like having one or two squads of crisis suits, but like I'll come back to this build for purpose.
Yep.
They're built for the thing they're meant to do, and you take as few many chances as possible to mess with what they're supposed to be doing. I love, like in my soul, I love the idea of like plasma airburst units.
Right.
I love the idea of that dual role being good at a bit of everything, but then they're not. You'll have 2-3 turns of a game where they're not good at anything.
Yep.
So I'm of the opinion, double down.
There you go.
I'd never
sense.
take 3 guns though, yeah? Are you been taking 3
On
airbursts
crisis?
on one crisis? Or are you
No,
taking
not
2?
three. Not 3
Yeah, you take
airbursts.
2.
Yeah. That's too much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Morori.
Heyo.
Maury. Adam, can we convince Nick to do a coaching video with Bridger? I would watch the crap out of it.
Is that Maori? As
Maori.
in New Zealand, Indigenous New Zealand, is it called Maori? Could be. But yeah, I'll ask Nick. That could be fun. We should do a triple header. We should do Nick, Jack, and John. They're going to play like Drukhari or something, and Bridger plays Custodes.
How would you even coach Bridger? It would just be
That's
like,
why it'd be hilarious.
I know. It would be like,
He's like, "I'm
don't
just
do that.
jargon."
And Bridger's like, I'm doing it. I'm doing
We're
it.
the best players in the world trying to teach Bridger how to make Custodes good. Like,
Nope.
and he's like, but what if I do this? And they were like, well, if you do that, you're going to lose. Like, whoa.
And then they lost.
He does no word spoken the whole time.
Well, thank you, Tanya, the
War Mistress.
War Mistress.
Tanya
Hey,
Gates.
what's up?
Just FTN represent.
Nice. Fortune Narrative.
That's right.
She's on the podcast with me. Check it out. And check out the War
awesome.
Mistress on all things.
I was gonna say.
Probably Instagram.
Yeah, she's very prolific and has been in lots of other shows, including a lot of Play On lately too. So
Yes.
really
and
awesome.
she's one of our great role models for more women in the hobby.
Oh, absolutely. So if you haven't seen Tanya's work, definitely check her out. The War Mistress.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Hytorian. Having played a wide variety of armies, which are the rock, paper, scissors factions in 40K? Which armies can easily counter another army despite being suboptimal against others? That sounds like a math problem.
I feel like those two things are at
Yep.
odds with each other, aren't they? Rock, paper, scissors is just like one army that hard counters another or is super simple. But then the other one is,
I feel like the better example
yeah.
is Pokemon types.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what a lot of 40K is at the moment. You have your grass rock.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's somehow, for some reason, it's okay against water, but also weak against water.
Right.
Or you have your bug psychic. You know, you can have your different
So
types
true.
of different types of armies that have kind of got a strength and a weakness at the same time. So knights, going back to knights, is the best example.
Yeah.
Knights can still just ruffle stomp somebody who's unprepared.
Yep.
Like if you're, too deep into, so GSC is a good one. Yeah. If you're playing the GSC army that has all the big bricks, they've got a lot of strength 4. You can get crossfire to get pluses and stuff. But if you just go second and they just bum rush you with 3 gallons or something crazy like that, you just lose so much of your army, or you just get blocked in your deployment zone or stuff like that. So what I think you're breaking down, I think the Pokemon types thing makes more sense. In addition to the concept of gatekeepers, I don't know if any of you guys are good at unpacking that one, because I feel like I've talked to them.
Oh, do you want me to
No,
go
you
into
can talk.
gatekeepers?
Yeah, I'd love to hear you talk about
No,
gatekeeping.
I'm sorry.
Not
sorry.
that kind of gatekeeping.
Sorry, my dissertation is called gendered gatekeepers, so I just broke and I was like, yes, gatekeepers.
Well, so the comparison lives, because there are
Yeah.
armies that hold other armies down by dint of them not being good. If Custodes, if Eldar, is good against Custodes and other things, they will get to one of those gatekeeper roles.
Yep.
Well, actually, they used to be the triple Telemon, the unkillable stuff.
100%.
It was such a great gatekeeper.
Right.
You cannot you must be this tall to make the top tables, because you got to pass the Custodes player. So there definitely is that. I think Custodes is a rock paper scissors match at the moment, especially Shadowkeepers more than Emperor's Chosen.
Yeah.
Because Shadowkeepers can get exploited by mortal wound dunking.
Yep.
So I think they are a bit rock paper scissors. It's just that they have 3 scissors, and you have maybe one rock. Yeah. Way to ruin my own analogies.
I
guys.
love it. I love it.
Terrible.
You were good, and then you
Terrible.
took it
Yeah.
3 steps too
Yeah,
far.
yeah.
But I'm into it.
Whoa.
Yeah, and I think that's a good analogy, because when they first started talking about this, not to just dunk on him because he's not here, but Bridger kind of loves this style in some ways, where it's just like very one directional. It's going to be very amazing against some things, but not others. And so some aspects of the Custodians have been that, and I think still are in some ways.
I suppose Marines is the best example of rock, paper, scissors, isn't it?
Yeah.
Depending on which style, you're always going to have a really big rock,
Yeah.
and you're going to be amazing into some papers.
Yeah, well said.
Well, thank you, Martin Easterman. Cool to see Dark Angels Assault Intercessors. They are my troops in Green Wing Patrol that
did it.
contains my Inceptors. How are you finding them? Do they live long enough to get their stand till 1+ shooting in combat? And then another one from Martin Easterman. Just catching up. Nope, that's good. That they're not related.
Yeah.
They're separate. We'll
No,
get
you're
to it.
good.
First, your first one.
So I didn't play. So I thought. I wasn't playing Assault Intercessors. I was playing regular Intercessors. And one of the things they can do is that if I'm in combat with you, I can shoot into that combat,
Right.
hitting on 5s, but because of +1 to hit, I'll be hitting on 4s.
That's cool.
It's actually a really cool thing. I love it on aggressors more than anything else. One of my favorite things to do is stasis grenade somebody, hit them with five aggressors.
God.
Flame them down in your turn, in my turn, and then charge off into something else.
That's amazing.
Beautifully. Because I can keep the string out and not have to worry about piling in to get into combat to get the punches. I can just stay right there, and then as long as I'm in 12 inches, this guy can flame in, and it's really cute. So Intercessors, I've always wanted to do with them, but I always find, especially in Dark Angels, if I take any amount of Deathwing, the Intercessors usually just end up sitting backfield, so I don't get to do as much.
Yeah, that's fair.
Awesome. Well, thank you again, Martin Easterman. Just catching up. Sorry, I thought Adrian was piloting, but thank you for thinking of me with Mixed Wing Force. Always the dream to play. Also, John sounds like Napoleon Dynamite is producer.
That's pretty accurate. I can't really dance though. I can't do the Napoleon Dynamite dance.
We'll
as a
work on it.
producer, Yeah.
If you want to produce, you have to dance.
Oh, I'm out. You're going to lose all of your
Only for you
producers
guys,
then.
though.
Yeah, only for us. We won't film it.
We will film it.
You're already producer.
For the
you're
Emperors.
fine.
Thank you, Martin Easterman, again. So, if Mel was to play Space Marines, which chapter would she choose and why? Assuming she didn't choose Imperial Fist, how does Adrian feel? If Dark Angel's cool. I don't know,
This
Adrian.
is classic Martin right now.
You tell
It's
me
drama.
what Space Marines I
What
would play.
stylistically?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because I feel like thematically, obviously, you'd want to play the Space Wolves.
yeah.
But what would match you?
I still think Space Wolves.
In some ways, yeah. You're kind of you're an ABC person, but you also like to have a toolbox.
Yeah.
So Space Wolves or Blood Angels.
Raven Guard.
Raven
Nice,
Guard?
nice in the middle.
It is kind of
Always
in
be
the middle.
charging, but kind of crafty.
Yeah, yeah. But,
Suits the aesthetic as well.
yeah, exactly. All Raven Guard.
Yeah.
But the other thing about Mel is she's secretly super competitive. It's not even a secret, actually.
No, I'm.
Like,
I
when
have been trying. It took years for me to convince Adrian that playing cheese
Yeah.
was okay.
Yeah. When I started playing competitive, it's like, oh, this thing is so cheesy. You know, you hear that word. And then she was the first one to kind of shake me out of it. She's like, every time you say cheese, what you're saying is good.
Yeah.
And I was like,
And you're like, no, I refuse.
So in that regard, I don't know. You might do something like this. The Space Wolf successors have been pretty interesting lately. So
Oh,
you
okay.
know,
Yeah.
That's it. There you go.
I like it. I like it. How do you feel about this, Adrian?
I feel fine. I feel good about it.
You feel fine about
Yeah,
it until I want to
fine.
repaint your Space Wolf armor.
Yeah, that's the main thing. Oh my god.
Rainbow
Still a cool
metallic.
choice.
Rainbow metallic. Bring
Yeah.
it out there.
Did Martin ask the next question as well?
Yes,
Yep.
thank you again, Martin.
He's on our
Animal.
page.
Adam, I love Deathwing Knights. How do you think I can take the most number of them as possible while still being competitive? Adrian, do you concur?
I'll agree with whatever Adam says.
The most number we're still being competitive is 10. There's
Okay.
1 unit of 10. I think you can justify 1 unit of 10. In fact, my list for this game started with 1 unit of 10.
Whoa.
And then I paired it back to 10 non with just assault hermes, and then I dropped a couple because I needed about 30 points left to squeeze the other pieces in. But I was going to take them here because I think they're fun as hell. I love that they pay 4 points a model for weapon skill 2+ and no minus to hit on the Thunderhammer, and then access to a pretty good strat, which is the +1 AP, +1 to wound.
That's true.
So you know things like Riptides and Broadsides they make very quick work of.
Oh my god. Yeah.
But I find that the best way to use them is to actually have them in reserve and go for 7-inch charges from a chaplain.
Oh, okay.
You smash the chaplain out, turn the 14 inches, deep strike them down, go for the 7 with the reroll. And if you don't, they're sitting there insulating the chaplain, or the chaplain charging and they didn't. And then you can do, with the movement of the chaplain and the advance, if you want to go 20 inches, you can usually get into a place where you're charging from out of line of sight. And there is no real line of sight, shooting in the game that if they're in the cover is really going to threaten them.
Yeah.
So if you can tick all those boxes, you can make them work. Are they actually competitive? No. But if you like them, you play them.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, largely I feel like just the fact they don't have OBSEC is a big thing.
Exactly
just
right.
comparatively to Deathwing, right? Yeah.
So you pay 4 more points to not have OBSEC. And I mean, regular Terminators, what are they not killing anyway?
Yeah,
Like, you know, what
frankly.
are we really gaining here? It's
But-
only- yeah.
But they do have cool robes.
Yes.
So, although frankly yours do too as well. I know, it's so cool.
They got a flail.
We'll
boy.
get some Martin because regardless of they're just cool. They're so cool.
Well, thank you, Not So Average Joe.
Yo.
Hey, Titans, my Alpha Legion army is a Disco Lord,
Okay.
Chaos Lord, Dark Apostle, 2x10 Colt, 2x5 CSM, 10 Terminators with LC and Plasma, 2 Blood Slaughterers, 3 Twin Volkite, Dreads, and 3 Obliterators. Thoughts?
Interesting.
3 Volkydros. You're paying a lot of points for those now.
Oh yeah.
It's rough. I love the Blood Slaughterers.
They're so cool. Yes. They're also weird to me in this one though.
They are, yeah.
You know?
I suppose, but they get nicely buffed by the Lord Disco.
Yep. That's
Yeah.
true. Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, it's just a bunch of threat up there early on. I'm just thinking because stupidly CSM vehicles and demon engines don't benefit from your trait. So
Yeah.
like if you could pregame move the Blood Slaughterers with Alpha Legion, I'd be so into it.
Yeah.
You know?
So I'm assuming you're playing in this way to keep one of those shooting assets safe, either the Oblitz or the Termies. You're going to have them and you're going to Alpha Legion them every turn so they can't be shot.
Can you scroll up again? I just need to look at
I
the
feel
list
like
again.
it's too. I feel like in this meta it's too many points in the Volkites. I'd drop down to 1 Volkite
Yeah.
Just because it's not good for them right now and you're paying a bunch of extra points. Until we truly go back to an MSU meta, I'd steer away from 3 of those.
Yeah.
But I'm just trying to think of what you do with the points.
Frankly, I'd like to see, again, trading and scoring units. So like some Raptors maybe.
Yeah.
Again, probably 6 mans. Just open up some trading and some secondary options there.
And if you wanted to really diversify which units you're protecting, because you have anti-tank, anti-everything with the plasma, you have anti-tank with the blitz as well. If you wanted to, you could drop 1 or 2 of the dreads, drop either the blitz or the terms. I'd probably drop the blitz personally, and I would go for a termite with a bunch of havocs with Reaper chain cannons.
Ooh, that's cool.
And then you can keep those in the termite or out of the termite, just walk them up the table, keep them from being shot, and then if you need to go anti-infantry, they're the thing you offer Legion and protect, or if you need to go anti-marines, anti-things, you can do the terminators instead.
I'm also a fan of that because there's actually no caster in this list, and I feel like things like Obliterators really want to have the buffs.
The reason I don't like a blitz is they're such buff sponges.
Yeah.
They can't drink enough. They are the driest of
They're so thirsty.
So thirsty. Yeah. And so I worry that you're just never going to get enough. And then if you have every buff in the game and they just roll poorly, like,
Yeah.
ugh.
Well, now you sound like Nick.
He
hates Obliterators.
I don't like a blitz. They're too many points as well for what they do.
I don't disagree. Yeah.
Well, thank you, Scython Nilo.
There you go.
Hey, Titans. Tailoring my first Custodes list with all the pregame RM, screening and positioning going on. What you think about Witch Seekers? Cheers.
Do they get a pregame move?
They do, yeah. Like Dominions.
Oh, that's cool. And which build is that?
They're the Flamers.
The Flamers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I am a fan.
That's cool.
I like Witch Seekers a lot. So what you can do, depending on how you want to do it, you can do 1 big squad of 9 Witch Seekers and the character in a Rhino. They'll get the pre-game move. They'll get out, and they can extend them somehow to 15-inch Flamers. When they're innate rend 1, and I think you can get +1 to wound or plus their strength. And then of course you can have a strength 6 -3 1 damage auto hitting Flamer from the character. So between the two, you can be really good at killing screens. I personally love it. I actually think it's actually really good. And if you're playing in a game in a meta with a lot of screens, I think it's quite necessary.
Yeah, very necessary. And frankly, with even some of the missions, if you want to get your command point turn 1, you have to be able to even just do that teeny pre-game move to get onto the objective in the command phase. So it gives you that utility where, frankly, the book has none. Yeah.
Thank you, Jacob Keelhorn.
Hey, what's up,
In your
Jacob?
guys' honest opinion, where do you think Necrons stand with the current missions? I've played 7 games so far in the new missions, and I've only won 3.
It's rough still.
It's rough out, John's just like, it's
John out of
rough out there.
nowhere.
That's it.
It's rough still, he said. Yeah, no, it is definitely rough. No lie. I don't have particularly new insight on the new missions because we haven't played them with Necrons yet. I have plans to build more score packs for us and also to get more flayed ones for us because those are 2 tools that are still continue to be interesting and compelling. I don't know. Have you guys messed around with them much in the new missions?
I know. Richard's quite excited about them.
Yeah.
Still doesn't consider them to be. I think they were a C tier army. Now they're a B, pushing possibly B plus army.
Okay.
In the competitive scheme, which might not be the pool you're playing in.
Yeah. No, Jake was pretty competitive. He's actually a local, so he's definitely trying to rock them competitive.
My issue is their shooting is god awful. Like their long range shooting is absolutely horrific.
What long range shooting?
Exactly. Well, you're gonna waste a quarter of your army on 3 DDAs that could do something, or most likely will do nothing. I hate that their melee is good now. Their melee is like
It's
on
great.
par with most of the best melee in the game.
Yeah.
The thing is, like, they can't get past the screen in order to get the melee in there. Like they can't get rid of the chaff, and the stuff that gets rid of the chaff is in the way of the melee because it's all 12-inch and 18-inch band range.
Right.
And so it's a mess, and they need to clean it up. I honestly think they are in the best spot they've been in, but their build has to be a grindy mid-board build, and you can just get picked apart. Yeah.
That's fair.
Awesome. Thank you again, Martin Easterman. Sure happy that the studio is full of fun, happy commentary about Dark Angels, and there is nothing Bridger can do to bring the loyalists down. Also, new Brian can come again, in my opinion.
New Brian.
Excellent Titan rapport.
Well, there you go. You heard it here first.
I need a sweater. Send the
We got
sweaters
them.
in. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Next game, I'll just wear a sweater, and we won't even mention the
We
sweater.
won't mention
We'll
it.
just be
Yeah.
like, this is just how he is all the time. Yeah.
Yeah, he came back from some island or continent. I don't know. You know, this is how he is now.
Grew 2.5 foot, way more
Yeah.
handsome. Yeah.
Thank you, Edward Burke. How do you see Custodes handling the new secondaries now that Wizen is out? Are Witch Seekers usable for their
That's so
pregame
funny.
move? Didn't we went?
We
We
did.
did.
Okay.
just spoke that.
I was like, did I read this?
WZN. that.
Warzone. Warzone Knockman. The GT pack.
WZN. Oh, I see. Okay. Cool. I was like, they're both war zones.
How
But,
do you guys feel Custodes do on the new missions?
so far, fine, frankly. I need to kind of, the thing is there's so much variance between each of them. So like I recently played against them with GSE on this mission.
Yes.
And I'm like, he's getting all the extra bonus points. I'm getting none. And it lets them make up for the fact that I have all this extra board control. So from my limited experience going against them, I thought it was really, really exciting for them personally. But again, it's pretty limited.
That's funny.
I
I had a
think-
similar experience.
Oh yeah, you just played them too.
Literally, yeah, we played them like back to
And you were
back.
doing Drakari,
I was playing Chikari, yeah.
like MSU style.
Yeah, exactly.
Did you play the same mission?
Literally the same mission, I
Oh my
think.
god.
Yeah.
Did you play the
A
same
lot of
mission?
kills.
What? That's insane. Yeah, I think they got a little bit worse on the secondaries, but that book made them so much better on the primary than ever been before.
Yeah.
So I think they just flip in purpose in modus operandi, and they're like, well, we used to be just playing to the last, and maybe we get some primary points. Now you're like all in on the primary,
Yep.
and the secondaries if you can get them.
Yeah.
So and I think they do fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Sorry.
Siege.
No, it's good. It's good.
So because I don't like money and I want to live the meme,
Okay.
impulsors with orbital bombardment for the AOR.
Army of Renown.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it.
I haven't deep dove this Army of Renown yet. I know some bits and pieces.
I haven't super deep dove it either because I was turned off by a couple of the things, frankly, because it is Army of Renown, so like you literally don't even get your chapter tactics. I was like, I wish this was a supplement, frankly.
Yeah.
That was like, go play Phobos, go make Reavers good, and do your chapter on top of it.
Yeah.
So that turned me off,
Yeah.
to be honest. But I keep hearing about this orbital bombardment with Army of Renown.
Wait, sorry. Elaborate more
On which one?
on. Is it just orbital bombardment?
No, that's what I mean. I don't know what the special thing that it does, but it's not the first time someone has asked about orbital bombardment with Army of Renown. It could very well be. It is Siege Roots, so it could have been them asking again.
Yeah, so you guys know you can upgrade an impulsor to do an orb
Yeah.
once per game.
Right.
And then you have the one innately in the book.
Yeah.
I've got to assume that they give you one.
another one?
Yeah, so you can just like be like,
triple down.
yeah, three turn one, and then one every turn thereafter.
It's a meme. It could potentially punish certain armies that just want to stay still, but frankly, that's not many armies at this point, and it's never
It's not
been.
even Tau now.
It's not even
Tau's
Tau.
dynamic now.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
because you would be like,
Right.
break up your castle or die. Like it would be funny.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
no, I don't see it.
It's,
Everything's too fast.
Nah. It's a fun meme, and you should do it for the meme, but that's about it.
Thank you, Michael Veritas. Given your discussion on what to triple down on for Tau and the nerf to flyers, what do you think of taking the rule of 3 down to the rule of 2 to force diversity?
Ooh, spicy.
Not the first time we've heard of this, right?
It's not the first time. I don't know if it. So I'll say this. I think something like that could be interesting. So, for example, the buggies going to one squad of each was actually a really interesting way of doing something like this. It's not across the board, because obviously it's going to affect certain armies more than others. And it says, yeah, you can take one buggy or you can take a unit of 3 buggies, but it puts that limiting factor. So I'm always very reticent to have these blanket rules, but I don't know. It'd be interesting.
This sounds to me like a very sexy thing that G-Dub could do with the seasonal stuff. You rotate the rule of 2 through certain slots per season.
Yeah.
Oh, this season, only 2 per on heavy supports.
Yeah,
This
yeah, yeah.
season, only 2 per for elites or fast attacks. And you just add a little bit of extra spice onto your competitive tournament season.
That's kind of what, so Sigmar, they're not limiting it, but they're giving a lot of reason to either have monsters or be able to kill monsters, right? And I imagine the next season will be something else. Right now we're in the realm of beasts, so it's a similar sort of
That's
thing,
cool.
right?
Yeah.
We're in the realm of bikes right now, or not bikes specifically.
Siege Roots clarified, it's a free orbital and command if it drops immediately.
It drops immediately?
Yeah, it drops
Ooh.
immediately.
That just sounds genuinely good.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm into it.
How many CP did they say?
It's free orbital command.
Free orbital.
I doubt it's free, but
I guess
Nothing's
you-
free.
I don't know.
Cool.
yeah.
Awesome. Thank you again, Martin Easterman. The most important question, given Adam just called Custodes top faction and Bridger loves them, and meta chasing. How do Dark Angels and Adrian beat Custodes?
Dark Angels and look, I can be Bridger Custodes because he doesn't know how to play them apparently. Oh,
There's a lot of
I'll throw
Bridger
down
bashing.
Dark Angels against his Custodes.
Do it.
I'll do it.
I hung with Bridger. He was hanging with me, Val, and a couple of the Ocho guys. He came and had dinner with us and stuff. And he was just like, we were all just like, feel clever now, don't you? And he's like, he's head down. We didn't poke too much fun at him, but yeah.
No, it's all good. The moment that Richard and Jack's lists were like announced, Bridger's like, he's like, oh, I might be about to have some egg on my face. I'm like, yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
What would you do? Like so I guess, more broadly speaking, you're a Dark Angels player, you're looking at Custodes, who there is this sort of back and forth between like we are both trying to do the same thing, who does it better at any given moment. So I'm just curious on your thoughts.
So the obvious thing is to meet them in the middle and grind them out, being like but it's so boring. But taking 40 Deathwing Terminators is like the best thing to do against Custodes.
Yeah.
You'll just be like, why?
Yeah.
But it comes down to the fact that you as the Dark Angels player, if you can force the grind, have better secondaries, and will probably win by like 5 to 10 points if you can force them to play that game with you.
Right.
But things like Virtus Praetors, things like Caladius Grav Tanks, things like there are other like Tanglefoot just saying no become such big issues because that becomes a game of inches, very, very closely contested. They have the spice, like just have the spiciness of having all the tech and the stuff, and you have just the resilience, the reliability of like, you can't just push me over. There's nothing you can do to just push me over. So yeah, that's the best thing you could do into them, but just don't. Just don't. The other best thing you do to them, see, there's nothing else. There's nothing else. Because you try and play the plasma game, they turn off the rerolls and you kill yourself.
Yep,
You try and play the melter game, you have to hit on 4s with no rerolls,
Yep.
and they transhuman, and you don't kill anything. You just, so the best thing you need to do is just force a grind, or go super speed. Super speed. And that is Blood Angels build that I've been talking about. 'Cause it's actually a decent Blood Angels build.
Yeah.
Not saying it's good into them, but it's probably the best of the Blood Angels bunch.
Right.
Because things like Sangard don't need
They don't rely on rerolls.
They already have the +1 to wound
strength.
is everything they need.
Yep.
They already hit on 2s, and they've got a decent save. You can't just shoot them down. So there's some options there. I'm not saying it's good. It's just the best we came up with for them. But yeah, in saying that, it's just to force a grind in the middle and just out-survive them because you got better secondaries.
Yeah.
Thank you, Broken Chef. Got a 1,000-point tournament in March. I was thinking of running Zinch Demons, but I haven't tried Knockmoon yet. Anything to look out for? Also, John is a fiend.
I'm never gonna live down that Crusher Stampede game.
You're a fiend. He's a fiend, guys. He broke my spirit. Oh my god. So Zinch Demons, Knockwound.
1,000 points.
I think they came out of it pretty fine. I'm like thinking about what things they would have changed. Like your units of horrors and things like that, you have to be a bit more careful now.
Yeah.
Because you can get shot down and a single horror is not going to be able to do rod anymore. That's definitely a thing. Obviously...
I feel like splitting horrors at 1,000 points would be broke.
Oh, that's definitely a problem.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now I have more Knockmoon.
I would take 2 units of 6 flamers.
Yeah.
Because to
Yep.
try to give you
Exactly.
the option to play Knockment.
Yep.
And then I would just take 1 unkillable keeper. Also, you can do Screamers instead of Flamers if you want. I think Screamers are just fine. I don't know why they get a lot of hate just because they don't shoot, I guess. But yeah, like play a 850 point list because you want 150 points of splitting horrors. Or 100 points is probably enough.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
I love it. I think that's good. And that's kind of all like the key points. If we didn't mention it, you'd probably skip it, to be honest. From the Zinch Demons.
I'm sorry, yeah.
Thank you, Future EMP. 3 Devilfish with SMS, 2 Seeker missiles with 10 Breachers each. 1 Devilfish with SMS, 2 SM with Strike Team. 1 Devilfish with SMS, 2 MS Pathfinders. Combat debark twice. Recon sweep into Deepfish. Or D-Fish, sorry, Devilfish.
I don't think you can recon sweep back. Oh, what?
Yeah, I think reading between the lines, you're talking about getting in and
Back
out of
in?
a transport in one
Yeah.
turn, which I think they've blanket ruled and precedented to say you can never do that.
Yeah.
Because people were fire and fading in and out of all sorts of things.
Exactly.
If I missed the mark there, apologies.
No, I totally agree. That's what I was thinking. Yeah, you'd have to find it, but I'm pretty sure that it does exist now. So you wouldn't be able to do it.
There's probably just assuming there's been a precedent set that you can never embark and disembark in the same turn.
Yeah. Until pretty recently, you could, Dark Reapers and all that good
Yes,
stuff.
you could.
But other than that, I like this. I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of.
Well, I actually quite like the idea of Pathfinders in a Devilfish because you still get them out, move them, hit them on 2s, and just load up wherever you need. I think that's actually cool.
It gets you delivered because we even saw this game. Part of the trouble in Market Lights is getting them where you need them and getting them to a place where they don't have to move much. Pathfinders obviously can move, but this is going to let you get those angles. So that's cool.
Thank you, Broken Chef. AOS question. I have 2,000 point tournament next week. Could Archeon Slaves to Darkness, Tzeentch, or Ogre still be fully painted? Any XP versus Dargans?
Dude, we have the dragons, which are apparently very good.
Yeah.
We haven't really played them, but we have like the full list. It just has to be painted, Just add that to the queue. I'm trying to think. So there's the dragons are so good. They're fast, they're durable, they do mortal wounds.
It's not the actual big dragons, it's the dragon riders that seem to be the gas.
The big dragons are like
good.
Okay, but it's the smaller dragons, and you can get a bunch of them, and they do all these things that we mentioned. So, it's probably not ogres, to be honest.
Back to the taco.
I don't know.
Don't need me for this one.
I don't know if the ogres are going to be able to hang. Tzeentch with just pure mortal wounds, frankly, I think is very compelling. Archeon, Slaves to Darkness, no. I think Tzeentch, like focusing on mortal wounds, spells, and just kind of bringing in summoning and things like that to be on points and be annoying for them. I think that's what I would lean into.
Awesome.
Don't look at John.
Yeah.
John's going to start learning some AOS.
He is.
Eventually, yes.
Yeah.
John has a lot on his plate. We're making him produce, learn AOS.
Stepping up. I like it. I
Learn
like
Star Wars.
learn Star Wars. He's
Well, do
stressed.
Star Wars, yes.
Thank you, Ethrain Bunker. We decided to get San Diego Mexican food. I'm glad you guys liked your minis. Anything you would want different critiques?
Ooh, that's a great question. Would I change anything?
I was really impressed. It matches my army. Like, I mean, I know I sent you what paints I used, but the metallic ombre matches. I don't know if there was a wash on it, but I generally don't put washes on top of my metallics. And so maybe that would be my general take on the metallics. But what did you think?
I really liked mine. You did a really good job color matching with the schemes, and we talked about the skin tone is a bit different from mine, but we already talked about that. I don't know. I think it's not helpful to say I have no feedback, but one thing I'd encourage you to try, which I have on my orcs, is try some of the metal chipping, and you can just do it with brushwork, right? With a fine brush, just getting some of those scratched edges and corners and things like that, and it adds a lot, especially to models like orcs that can kind of have a lot of messiness, and it really adds to it in a good way. Yeah, other than that, really happy.
I mean,
with the
they were
model.
great. Like,
Ethrian does good work.
Yeah, absolutely.
thank you, Flying Squids. Hey, Titans, what are you most looking forward to about the new CSM, and can I get some list input? Disco Lord, JP Source, DP, by 2 Cultists, by 3 Noise Marines, by 15 Terminators, by 6 Raptalons, by 3 Venom, by 1 Decimator. One comment I have to say, people have started doing this with lists where they enter them down. I love it. Thank you. It's so much easier to read, and I don't think it counts on the character count.
A new line, when you go to the next line, doesn't cost you anything. There's a certain number of characters you get.
You might have to put it in Word first and then paste it over so that it keeps the.
But this is amazing.
You'll probably get better list feedback if you do this.
Yeah, because I'm not likely to mess it up. I'm not as likely to mess it up and summon a demon.
I like that catch. That's good.
I'm a little bit confused though. I don't know how big the Noise Marine squad's. I'm assuming it's not 6 units of Warp Talons. I'm assuming it's a unit of 6 Warp Talons.
Yeah.
And it'll be either a 10 and a 5 or 3 5s on the Terminators. But I just don't know how big the Noise Marines are.
Yeah.
Or did this person say what they're playing these as?
Are Emperor's Children?
Are they?
Children? It must be, or it's a weird detachment.
Yeah.
I don't know if Noise Marines I like as one big squad personally. I know if you're running them without the Sonic Blasters, they kind of are. There are arguments to say that they're kind of more melee oriented as regular Marines if you're Emperor's Children. But I know that CSM themselves, like the actual Marines, got cheaper. And I don't know that Noise Marines really did. So at that point, I think we're now in a place where you should just, if you want to run those regular Marines, run the regular Marines, right? Because I think Noise Marines as one big squad is usually the way to go, assuming this is Emperor's Children.
Yeah, I was don't quote me on this, but someone told me that 5 Chaos Space Marines with chainsaws is the same cost as 10 cultists now.
Oh my god.
It's the same cost.
It's like
in which case you just take the 5 Marines because sitting in cover they just got a better save and they won't just die to bolters or
If they're
las
least-
guns.
Yeah.
Or if there's if there's less than 5 minutes, it's 5 points, 10 points between them. You just take the CSM now.
Yeah.
As far as this list goes, I like it except for the Venom Crawlers. I've never seen them. Full stop.
I've never seen them. No.
I want them to be good, and that's one thing I want from the book, from the new book. I
Yes.
want some well-roundedness to that faction because there are so many units that just don't do anything. Like, what's a mutilator?
Oh my gosh.
What is? Yeah,
Right?
Yeah.
Right.
Soul Grind. Oh, sorry, Soul Grinders are demons. Defilers.
Defiler. Yeah,
Defiler.
yeah.
It's got good everything. Like
Yeah.
all the guns are good now. The Dashi's actually good now. It's got no rules.
Yeah. It's got no rules.
Doesn't do anything.
Needs a little
and
something.
it can be seen from space because its
That's right.
footprint.
He's right.
Yeah. What do you guys want from the book?
Yeah, I'll Demon Engine love for sure. You know, the Venom Crawlers are still rocking that old Demon Engine profile we've seen with Thousand Suns and DG that looks like they will be getting BS and Weapon Skill 3, which is very important because currently it's 4s and that's about it, right? So definitely love for them. And as I mentioned earlier, I want them to get chapter tactics. Like,
Yeah.
please let me just, there's so many cool, even if today, if Demon Engines could get your traits, there's a lot of, it opens up this whole new realm of things that you can do. We've seen, like, with a Disco Lord does benefit, and so we've seen in the past, not so much currently, but we've seen what a Disco Lord with even the old, the current rules for CSM, what they can do with it. It's a lot more fun, interesting, engaging.
Yeah, that would be an easy, like a balanced data slate update, just to give them a bit of excitement.
I'm surprised they haven't, to be
Yeah.
honest.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Then it becomes actually very compelling. Like, then you're advancing and charging with Mauler Fiends as Red Corsairs.
Yes.
Yeah, yes please. I'll take that.
It's true.
Yeah.
Thank you again, Ethrain. John, I know you know your model has been built for forever. I think I figured out this game, but any color specifically, I would love to have it match.
Oh, cool.
Look, if there's one thing Ethrian can do amazingly, he's a great painter, but his kit bashes are crazy awesome. We've talked about this several times, but he has like an Archon for me that's based off of one of the GSC characters that look kind of Eldari-like. She has like a robe,
Oh, the Magus.
Yeah, the Magus.
Yeah.
And I don't know, color specifically, I guess a Cabal color. I don't even know the green that I use on my...
It's probably Incubi Darkness.
Yeah, it's probably Incubi Darkness.
He doesn't know, but we know.
That one.
Awesome. Thank you again, Broken Chef. Need to get Adam's take on fresh cucumber on hot pizza.
Oh my God.
This is why John is a fiend, and I will never forgive or forget.
What is this abomination?
All right. So you have a pizza, right?
Yes.
And you can get like fresh vegetables on your pizza and add
What?
them to it, right?
Yep.
It's like you get a salad, but you put the salad like on
pizza.
your pizza. And now you have like something hot, something fresh.
Look at that
Yep.
face. That face is telling me
Yeah.
everything.
Explain to me why this
Chat,
is good.
back me up.
Sell me on why this is good or wanted to be done.
It's good. It's you have to have your vegetables when you eat, and you lose a lot of that when you bake your pizza.
So you're saying if I just had the salad on the side, it's worse than having the salad on top of the pizza.
Because that would be a normal and acceptable
Yeah,
thing.
that would be a human thing to do.
I'm losing him, chat. I'm losing him. We
like-
tried.
It's like someone tripped and then had to eat it anyway.
It feels worse because it's like
good.
you're taking your like cold, fresh veggies and you're putting them on your pizza, so now they're like half warm, but they're
So
not
now
baked.
You've cooled your pizza
And you
and
cooled
warmed your
pizza.
vegetable.
It's just like the worst of everything.
Yeah.
But you know they're more nutritious.
It's a strong play. I was
Yeah.
yeah.
You just gotta eat quick.
There you go, Broken Chef. Thank you, Fire Tyrant again. Hey, Titans, with all the new mission, troops are very important. How many should you bring at the moment? Also, how do you all think we should build our list to be more balanced in these new missions?
Great question. So
That's like a solve 40K question.
it is a Solve 40K question, which luckily we have part of the Solve 40K crew here.
Okay.
I have thoughts, but you want to start?
Your secondaries need to be built. So the game used to be defined by the primary, because the primary was because you just pick enough secondaries that if you played for the primary and won the primary, you won the game. Now it's flipped. you can't really take a bunch of, you don't have an auto 15 off any primary, of any mission now. So your secondaries are the important thing. It was important that you build for your secondaries before, but it was more important that you had a good primary score. Now it's the other way around. If you do not have a way to play 15 secondaries, rethink your army, change it, go over. I'm of the opinion now, just about every army should start as a battalion. There's very select ones, like Dark Angels being like one of the examples that can play without it, only because you get all the benefits of being a battalion whilst having another detachment. I think minimum, you either need to have you need to have equivalent of 6 units of OBSEC.
Yeah.
How you go about doing that, by giving it to things or having auras or whatnot, you need to have it, because technically you need to be able to trade 2 units a turn for a minimum of 3 turns in the game, and that's usually turn 2, 3, 4.
Yep.
Because you can't bet on doing it turn 5 if you go first or second, and you can't bet on having to do it turn 1 should you go first and not want to have a turn. So 6 is my number.
Yeah.
I wish I could have said 7.
7. Look, it's not bad if you have 7.
What's your take?
I think that's a really good point. I totally agree. You have to be able to go in with your secondaries largely figured out. I think already it was dicey before if you're like, well, I'll just play the mission specific. But it's doubly so now, obviously, because they don't exist. So you have to be able to have these things kind of built in, prepared against different lists. I think the differing primary on each of these things, if you kind of keep in these considerations about being somewhat well-rounded, it's not that you can't kind of tech towards one thing or another, but have some solution for those missions, then you're going to be okay. But you do have to consider them, or you have to be a faction that frankly doesn't care about them enough.
I think for the next 12 months, more than possibly ever in the game, books will live and die by how good their troop slot is.
Yeah, 100%.
That's Adam's hot take.
I love it.
Yeah.
Spicy.
Thank you, Andrew Middleboss. Great game, gentlemen. If you could, what would an infantry-heavy semi-competitive orc list look like?
Ooh. So I think it's probably still Goths. Just melee, a ton of aggression. Totally blanking. Beast Snaggle Boys, fantastic. Truck Boy, Meganobs, also fantastic, just for putting on pressure. With them, Beast Boss on foot, again, thank you, Thrain, super interesting now. There was a time where it's just like, well, why are you running this guy when you could be running Beast Bosses? But being able to be in the transport, deliver buffs, and frankly be breachable, so you can get through things is actually super important. So in some ways, it's actually more infantry based than I would have even done it before. So I would do that. I still personally would still bring some of the utilities like a unit of Storm Boys or Commandos or 2 to be able to play that. Yeah, so frankly, I think those are the things I would lean into Goths. I'm really curious about Death Skulls because it used to be the one that you kind of splashed in if you needed a bit of OBSEC utility. I don't know if they stand well enough with just by themselves. So that's the only thing that your army's doing. I don't know if it's enough. Whereas Goths also fight, also play with troops, and kind of lean into that. Yeah.
Orcs were I believe orcs were, even though orcs have become a homogenous sub-faction build, they were kind of hurt by the restrictions now. Because a month ago I would have been like, well, just have your Cake Eater 2, take a Vanguard or Outrider or just a patrol of Death Skulls,
Yep.
2 units of Commandos, 2 units of Storm Boys, or whichever ones you want.
Exactly.
And then, you get your Cake and Eater 2. But now I think it is just Goths. Yeah, I think Goths is the way to go. Unless you're going, you can't do it. You can't do that, Yeah, it's Goths.
Wait, what did you just think? I want to know what you were just thinking.
Because he said infantry heavy. I was about to say the Army of Renown. Because you can play bike spam.
Yeah.
Bike spam's pretty nice.
Yeah.
Go check out Mark Perry's LVO list, and you'll have a great starting point for infantry heavy. Just drop the Beast Hog Boys and replace it with more infantry, and you probably got hopefully exactly what you're after.
Yep.
Awesome. Thank you. Get cracking. Sitting here, putting together the new Shroud Runners, wondering what your thoughts are on the traditional meta warping that Codex Eldari inflicts. MSU returns due to Eldar Psychics and Focus Live. I just know where to hand this right now.
Yeah. So before having said this, of course, we don't discuss leaks and such. So we'll discuss kind of what we know generally, what we know in the past from Eldari, what we can expect. So just putting it out there, because some people I think in chat are going to be expecting that. I know. We're all super excited, but having said that, take it away, John.
The White Dwarf is out, right? That's it. The Army of Renown.
I know like what it is. I don't know what it does.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, it's all really cool. Yeah. Yeah, we hope that there's a lot of MSU with like aspect warriors and things like that. Playing the game, a lot of flexibility, right? The Shroud Runners are really cool. I don't know if I'm convinced on them yet. How do they play the mission and
The
things like
data
that?
sheet as it exists today,
Yeah.
it doesn't look
It's not
amazing.
impressive.
Super problem.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
it
doesn't-
seems like a little confused unit too, right?
Yes.
It's a jet bike. I wonder how much it's gonna cost. I don't know if those points are out yet. But
Right.
like it's a sniper on a fast attack, basically, right?
Yeah.
Right.
I looked at the model, I'm like, oh, that's cool. And then I thought about it, I'm like, huh? Yeah. I
Yeah.
didn't really get it.
Yeah. Sadly, so ours, Hobby Titans just came out with a video on how to paint them because I said, you know what, these are cool. They're a cool unit. I don't think they're the most amazing unit or useful. I'm not sure what the purpose is. So we're going to have Zach paint them for the same Han army because they're cool and they make sense in that. But I'm not like, this is amazing. This is what's going to work. To the point of Eldari or Asriani or whatever, they totally warp the meta almost every time that they come out. They're massive. I think people have gotten, not complacent, but they've forgotten the terror that was Eldar for years and years and years. And I'll be curious to see if that terror...
Forgotten the ways.
It's true.
Yeah.
People, like, there's armies that people hate and people still remember, like, oh, we hate Taum. Like, you've forgotten about how bad Eldar was at one time. And traditionally, yeah, they're very good at killing single big targets. Kind of what Adam was talking about earlier.
Doom and Guide.
Doom and
Jinx,
Guide
yeah.
and Jinx were coming out of this space where, frankly, Eldar would love to kill single big targets, big monsters. But at the same time, maybe there'll be more MSU in this sort of Drukhari style fashion. From what we've seen, I think they can play maybe a bit of both.
Right. I mean, the book is going to be huge, like 6 pages less than
Yeah.
the Marine book, right?
Yeah.
There has to be a few gems in there.
I like how they were like, it's massive. We also put the Harlequin book inside there.
Yeah, and there are some
Yeah.
things in here that people are going a little bit by the wayside. One of the inadvertent buffs is that you now get to have Harlequins added to your Drukhari army. And so there's a whole new patrol added to that playbook.
Yeah.
And it's going to be rough. Just putting it right out there. Not rough in the fact that I think it's going to warp the meta. It's just there's going to be so much more you need to account for and
Yes.
know. And I think the burden of knowledge is the thing that I worry about the most with people playing into this new stuff when it comes out. Only because it's 3 freaking books.
Yeah.
They're just
Yeah.
3 books in one. Off the back of 3 very knowledge-intensive books being GSC, Custodes, and Tau all coming out off the back of
Right.
it.
Yeah.
It's going to be a while before the meta settles, and it's going to be just chasing the hotness for a bit, I think.
Yeah. That was like the epiphany I had when Tau came out, because like it was a matchup that I really didn't have to worry about at all. But now all of a sudden, like, oh, this is like 8th edition. I had to
Yeah.
like learn how to play against this army again and account for it.
And it's
Yeah.
quite interesting to, I don't know if anybody else has noticed this, but prior to these 3 books, the only other books that I really felt like I had to be really on top of was AdMech.
Yes.
AdMech, because honestly, they could just say, toaster, toaster, bang, bang. I'll be like, is my stuff dead now? And they're like, yeah, cool, take it off. Because they could just say whatever words they want to be, I've got this buff. I'm like, I would just believe them.
Yeah.
It feels like these last 3 books are kind of like that as well. You need to know a lot to understand them.
Yes.
I think I'm
100% agree.
forever going to say toasty, toasty, bang, bang.
Do it, do it.
Awesome. Thank you, Jonas Anderson. Thinking Death Card, would you play Plague Marines with Cultists lacking OBSEC and Poxwalkers lacking actions? Heard Hassan hyping them.
I like Hassan.
Husin.
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 So I've been saying this for a little bit with Death Guard, where I know Plague Marines are not good compared to a lot of the other equivalent things, but the truth is you also have to look into the internal balance of the Codex. You need to be able to perform actions. You need OBSEC. Poxwalkers can't perform actions. So I've been intrigued by 2, 2, and 2, frankly. You have four units that can perform actions, that can do Rod, can do all that stuff, raise banners, and unlocks a whole section of the secondaries that is kind of tough with them otherwise. And frankly, we've done it. We've built even like the Demon Engine list, the Epidemius minus Mortarian list, with that, and it still does that thing. Because I know a lot of Death Guard players kind of want to play into that. So I'm speculatively still a fan. I haven't like taken it to tournaments, but I think you need to be able to do actions in today's day and age.
Thank you, Levi. Great game, Titans. With Talon Custodes being the new hot, what do you all think of Blood Angels need to do to keep up? Adam, tell me it is their time.
Well, you mentioned this a bit.
Yeah, Blood Angels have always been kind of good into Custodes, right? We just talked about that a little bit.
You're
Yeah.
like,
So they're the best of the bunch. Is what
fair.
I'm going to say. Of all the Marines, I think Blood Angels have the most game into Custodes. As for game into GSC, I think they're just fine as any other Marine. They don't have any particular downsides or upsides versus them. I honestly do not think the build has changed for Blood Angels. Maybe it is Less Vanguard vets now in this meta because without rerolls, my God, do they feel bad.
Yeah, that's true.
Like no Chapter Master and no Lightning Claw rerolls, unless you feel like putting Power Fists back on your stuff. Because the Power Fist isn't too expensive, it's not overly, and the less -1 damage, or because Thick City no longer gets -1 against Strength 8, they do hit that bandwidth now as well. The other option is I've actually just been fine with Power Sword Vanguard vets. Sword and Board Vanguard vets, Strength 5, -3, +1 to wound, bunch of attacks, it's fine. But I think I think you got to really consider putting the second unit of Death Company in now. With the points drops, 1 unit to keep your opponent honest is cool. That was fine. Yeah. But what I love now is 1 unit gets sent in, 1 posts up in the midboard. 1 unit gets sent in because it just means the threat is just real bad. It's real bad. I even like 1 just playing in your backfield.
Yeah.
Just holding back and being like, if you want to have a big ingress into me, you want to come and swing really hard for me, this unit can kill anything.
Yeah.
And it's a good feeling.
Thank you, Mr. Cellophane. Do
Yo.
T-Suns have any extra play into Tau with extra save against a lot of their indirect? Also, has single spawn units in T-Suns gone away with the new changes?
Sadly, I think probably, frankly. You can't engage with them anymore, which was one of the most interesting things to do. You can still screen with them. So, frankly, if you need some more screening, they are useful in that sense. They still are a single unit, but generally, I personally would sort of be dropping them. Tau into... So, yes, the indirect fire, it's a thing. We've been talking about it. It's definitely a thing. It's not going to save your Zangors and other little things that can be on the side, but it makes rubrics... they're super tanky. So that is definitely interesting.
Surprisingly, I actually don't mind T-Suns and Tau.
Yeah.
So the biggest reason is Tau has 0 ability to absorb mortals.
Right.
The Tau is actually super susceptible to mortals. Your commander came within 18-inch range, it's bodyguarded, I don't care. I've got enough direct mortals to just kill him anyway.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff is what you need to build into. And the other thing, a lot of people love 2 units of Scarab Cult Terminators. I'm kind of coming around to it now, but I'm still not in love with it. But what I do love is min-max Reaper, what are they called?
Chain cannon?
Soul Reaper cannons.
Yeah.
Min-max Soul Reaper cannons. That's a beautiful profile into Tau.
Yes.
The strength 6 is amazing into all the crisis suits, and the broadsides, and the rend is exactly what you need.
Yeah. And that's on the rubrics, right? Because it's cheaper on the rubrics.
Yeah, you take the rubrics, and of course, I think a unit of 10 Scarab Cult Terminators, almost everyone was playing with already. If you weren't, it's mandatory.
Yeah.
Consider whether you want the second one now.
I'm curious if the second one lasts, now that you can't run 2 cults.
It's in reserve.
A quick
It's
clarification.
one in reserve, 1 on the table.
Oh, so you're still
Yeah.
just playing 1 at a time. Okay,
Yeah,
because a lot of
play one
times
at a
I've seen like one is Cult of Time, 1 is Duplicity.
Yeah.
Which you can't do anymore.
You can't.
A quick clarification. They play Marines, not Zangors.
Right.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
perfect. Great. Yeah. The Zangors they're gonna be in a tougher spot because of SMS, I think. Zangors were one of their interesting kind of screening tools that are kind of tough. They have in-buttons, blah, blah, blah. They're not too expensive. But SMS really puts them in danger. So you're good. You're immune.
Awesome. Thank you, Magnus. Again, thank
Hey.
you for the food
Thank
first.
you.
Yes.
What up, fam? Just got back from dinner. Gotta go back, watch the game.
Hmm.
Now for the important stuff. I know Adrian John's position.
Okay.
Adam and Mel, what is your favorite type of pasta/noodle?
The actual pasta itself or dish?
Pasta itself.
Like the actual noodle.
The noodle.
Pappardelle.
Which
Okay.
one is that? Is that?
Thick, flat.
Thick and
Oh.
flat. That was like without hesitation.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's my favorite to make as well when I make my own pasta.
Oh, fancy. I like angel hair. I like a really thin.
Just we couldn't be further apart.
We couldn't be further apart.
Yeah.
But yeah, an angel hair pasta is one of my favorites.
What's Natasha? What's yours? Yeah.
The same.
Oh.
Thing? Oh my
Toast
goodness.
What
Pappardelle
was your
as well.
Adrian's?
Mine,
We're on the opposite sides, aren't we?
I don't know if I had a favorite per se.
Did you just say spaghetti?
No.
I said spaghetti.
Oh no!
What grade?
And I
is-
specifically said I
But-
didn't like angel hair.
You don't like thin noodles specifically. I'm gonna take all comers. Different noodles have different purposes. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Lame.
Ravioli, really good.
Yeah, ravioli. We did agree. Ravioli, regardless, is good.
Thank you, Derek Massey. What would be your ideal Zinch demon list? Go.
Ooh. Okay. All right. Let's do this. Lord of Change. All right. I contributed.
Yeah. A lot of change. One change caster. I was
Yeah.
about to say, is this a patrol? I'm like, you can't fill it up enough. Has to be a battalion. 2 units of brims. 1 30-man unit of pinks, 20-man, 30-man unit of
Yeah,
pinks.
okay. Let's think.
With enough points to split a lot.
Yeah.
It's then it's like 3 units of flamers. I mean, what is even the options?
I know. Well, it's best you don't know the options because
What's the heavy support slot?
the what? Heavy is the flamer, the chariot flamer, which is horrible. And
What?
then the elites is the exalted flamer.
I don't mind the Exalted Flamer.
It's not terrible. It's a character.
Yeah.
So that
It hides in the Splitting Horrors.
yeah. So if
gets
you have a
angles.
couple, you have to be careful because you can't go
Assassinate.
all out because assassinate. But it's not terrible, frankly. I hesitate because I feel like I generally agree, but I also feel like I need some more horrors now. But SMS also make them just horrible.
Yeah.
But
That's why one big unit of horrors feels the best way to go for me.
Yeah.
And then just try and not get the brims shot. But then I'm like, where are you spending the rest of your points? There's so many points to spend.
3 units of 6 flamers for sure.
Yeah.
Because they're great and they're
then
infantry.
3 units of 6 screamers
Frankly,
as well.
is it even more than? Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. So you like screamers, huh?
I don't. No, it's necessity.
You just hate them less than most people.
Yeah, well, no,
it's
it's necessity. I
Yeah.
feel like what else are you spending your points on?
Yeah, I guess when you're running the squad of 3, they can at least engage, and they're very fast.
That's true. Yeah, they're very fast.
So that's cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's the thing. When you pick a faction that you love, and unfortunately, demons have always had that problem of like you are playing with a quarter. Like you have 5 units. Lean into that.
Is there any way to make a second keeper? Sorry, second law to change?
Yes.
Good.
So I think a second one can be obviously not as crazy. So the first one can have the -1 damage, the
Impossible Robe.
the impossible robe, and then the feel no pain.
Yeah.
The other one can be a great caster and or -1 to be hit. So it's like definitely not as efficient, but frankly, I think you're still getting some worth out of him, especially in the realm of like. No, it's a waste to do psychic actions on him.
Yeah.
Never
So
mind.
that's what I was about to say, because that's why the change caster is there.
You might almost want 2 then, because
2 change
frankly,
classes.
1 buffing the flamers
Yep.
for the +1 to wound feels necessary. So maybe both on discs just for maneuverability. One of them is doing either mental psychic interrogation or frankly warp ritual with your blob in the middle.
Yeah. That was my thoughts.
Nice.
So the blob in the middle, maybe 2 exalted flamers hanging out in the blob as well. The 3 units of 6 flamers seem just necessary, and then the rest is screamers. Yeah.
Thank you, Yukon Damon. Hey, Titans and Adam. How would you guys build an Imperial Fists army with the new missions?
My boys the fists. Make you sad. Again, I'm not to. Well, let's see. I'll say the first thing, which is generally speaking, my advice with fists is you still want to think as a Marine player, build into things that Marines are good at. Yes, it means that they're not all things that fists are like extra good at, but let's be honest, you still have to. If you're looking to compete, that's what you're going to have to do. So. That's my first kind of caveat, right? And sadly, I think things that I personally liked with my fists before, like the Redemptors, are going to be in trouble from just the volume of fire, the mass fire that can come from things like Tau now. Infiltrators, obviously, great with the new missions. I still would take a unit of Blade Guard just to be able to play. Like, they are durable against certain lists.
Have you considered DevSense since the change?
No, should I be?
Maybe. if you're already playing Imperial Fists,
You might as well meme it
what
up.
do you got to lose?
What do you have to lose? Makes me so sad.
If you are fist curious,
Yeah.
Crimson Fist is a better option. Unfortunately, it's just a straight up better option.
Yeah.
Crimson Fist 5-mans, especially into the Tau meta as well, where everything's a 10-man. They all get the pluses automatically and stuff.
Racks and stuff like that.
Yep, and the big rack units. Termagant Tormagant's probably coming back. 10-man Guardians, Dire Avengers, etc. It's a great little 5-man MSU build in there, plus with the +1 attack from Cantor is pretty
I
beastie.
kind of love that, yeah, because they have to take 10-mans now.
A lot of people have to take 10-mans now.
Interesting.
Yeah. I don't hate Crimson Fists. In fact, I was looking at them as options for try to stress test. Like, what's a fringe Marine build to help stress test custodians and stuff? And like,
Right.
Crimson Fist could be all right. So I'd look into that. I like intercessors at the moment. Not many people do.
In what way?
I just think, as a Marine player, they are the best screen clear in the game. That doubles down as something that does all your objectives for you. It's flexible and that it can be combat squatted. The build that we came to, and it might be even worth investing extra into this one, taking a Chappie to give them plus to hit, plus to wound, is just take a 10-man, 2 grenade launchers, like the same load that I had here.
Yeah.
Double shoot them.
With the autos, just for mass fire?
Yeah, just mass fire, because all you're doing is clearing. Because in the Art of Warhouse, you have to account for John, which means and you have to account for Richard.
Yeah,
and the
yeah.
intercessors actually do a good job of both because they account for the blob of rangers and they account for the devil gods.
Right, right.
And so we had to have, me and Jack were like, well, what do we do? And we're like, well, this option actually is good. Stupidly, it actually feels okay here.
And in this case, the Fist Ignore and Cover actually does in weird ways give you that extra AP, especially against the Rangers.
Yeah.
So you actually are getting a bit of bang for your buck there.
Agreed. But yeah, Crimson Fist is just a better Imperial Fist at the moment as well.
Fair enough.
Thank you, Edward Berg. Since my last question was redundant and the weeb gates have been opened, have John or Adam seen the anime 86? 86. It's a real kick in the teeth.
No, have not.
Yeah, unfortunately, I've seen it. I just looked it up on my phone. 86. I've seen like the. No,
Wait,
not
you
just
looked
now,
it up,
just now.
saw it, and you're like, now I've seen it.
I've seen like the title before. I've
Right.
seen like the what is it? The thumbnail for it basically. But it looks like a kind of like a mech type of anime.
Is he saying kick in the teeth as in it's a heartbreaker?
It seems like it might get. It looks kind of dark. Might get a little dark.
As in everyone's going to die?
Might be one of those.
Because that's expected at this point. I'm not sure it's that kick in the teeth.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, you should be prepared for that kind of stuff. I will say, Demon Slayer. You guys haven't watched it.
You've been
Guys,
saying
you
that.
have to. You have to get Adrian
I know.
and Mel into it. I keep trying to convince them. It's like a weekly thing now.
I know.
It's so good. And the season finale is tomorrow.
How many seasons are there?
It's only 2. 2 in a movie, so technically 3.
In a
Okay.
movie?
I can do that.
Is it ending?
I look at
No, it's not.
Okay.
But like,
Yeah.
it's real good.
I look at so many animes my friends rave about. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm too late to the party.
Right.
Go
Like,
on without me. It's
Spend
fine.
3 months
There's
watching
one
this to
that you
catch
have
up.
Watch, it's probably Demon Slayer. That's kind of like the one.
Okay.
All right, we'll check it out.
Thank you, Broken Chef. So, what is John's AOS faction, and when do we watch him die horribly playing his first game?
Yes. Excuse me, I already died horribly in my first AOS
That's
game.
true, you did.
I played, oh gosh, vampires, all right?
Yeah, Soul Blight.
Soul Blight.
What
There you go.
faction would Shinji play?
Wait, what?
What faction would Shinji play? Of Neon Genesis?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, so he is. You tell them your factions, it'll kind of match, anyways.
So it would be all the elves, obviously,
Shocking.
and then all the death, basically.
Also
all
shocking.
vampires. For
Edgy
days.
vampires.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
So on
There's
brand.
no mech armies. I guess dwarves if they get into.
Well,
maybe mech.
it's the ships, which if you're into steampunk, but it's kind of it's not really mech. It's like
Yeah. Unfortunately, can't.
well, like
can't
this,
40K.
if you're into like steampunk animes and stuff, then obviously yeah,
Yeah,
you're
some
totally in that like
Trigun.
the
Yeah.
dirigible sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah,
There you go.
there you go.
Well, thank you again, Ethrain. I'm excited for it. So, spoiler, Zach's Autark is going to be a kit bash of an Autark without wings and Eldrad to make a hopefully very dynamic pose.
Oh, that's cool. The Eldrad model is actually really great.
Really nice, yeah.
Super sick.
I actually just built one recently just to get the new one.
That's right, you had the old one.
I have the
I
old
was like,
one.
how do you
It
have the
looks
old
dope.
one?
He looks dope.
He look
Both
dope.
look dope, but the
Well,
new one.
the cool thing is because the old one you can just use as a regular foot farseer now, right?
True.
Thank you again, Martin Easterman. Heading off to bed, but just wanted to say thanks for Dark Angels and thanks for being such a happy bunch of gamers. Adam should be invited to the next TTTT.
Oh, I like it. I like it. We'll definitely take in consideration in the fall. You
Okay.
just gotta hang out for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
We stream like the whole time. It's just like 3 weeks of our lives
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
the TTTT.
I feel like we
down.
would, yeah. I'm into it. But yeah, it's cool.
And
We have a strong Dark Angels community, so it was nice to have you on with
Cool.
them.
Yeah, I've watched the last couple of TTTTs.
So much fun.
Yeah.
They're just the name's getting out of hand. But
It is.
nighty night, Martin.
Hey, Martin.
No,
Have a
man.
good night.
Thank you, BC. So, any hope for Renegades and Heretics book in our 9th edition future? We're getting dusty up here.
I love them.
Have is Forge World still making the range?
I don't know. Well, I don't think it's all completely dead as far as I know. I don't even know if
Yeah.
the units are playable at this point. First the army, and now I don't even know if the units have rules in the new book.
Let me look on Forge World to see if they still exist. If they
Yeah.
don't exist on Forge World, I hate to tell you, they're probably
They're probably
long
gone. You know, obviously they could redo them in plastic, but that could be, you know,
yeah.
forever and a day. Most things at this point, I expect they will get down to at some point in the next 20 or 30 years, but
God.
just gotta hang on, you know. It might be a time in which, you know, when that guard book comes out, you do your custom, you can converted stuff. You know, we've got the Dark Mechanicus. You do your Renegades and Heretics using guard rules.
Heck yeah.
And just
Still
gotta look into
exists as a tab.
that. Okay.
What's in it?
No, it's empty.
Malkador.
No.
Artillery carriage, Malkador and Furnace. Yeah, so all the actual sculpts are gone. I'm sorry, my dude. You might have to make your peace with playing them as Spicy Guardsmen.
Spicy Guardsman.
Or GSC. Use the GSC rules.
Ooh,
that could be cool. That
I
could be
love
really cool.
that, actually.
Yeah.
That's actually...
It's good. That's
really
really
good.
good.
Yeah.
Your patriarch being
Yeah.
your head honcho, brain, chaplain. You're essentially
Right?
your chaplain.
And the aberrants are like big mutant dudes.
yeah, mutant guys.
Oh my
yeah,
God.
do it. That's
Alright. That's amazing.
Done.
Thank you, Panflam FN. Can a commander with drones bodyguard like a Celestine?
Can they bodyguard? Yes. You can string out. Basically, have the commander in the front. The drones are part of the squad. You're only 3 models, so you can do the 2 inches and the 2 inches, going back to the bodyguards behind. Obviously, then.
Well, so it in itself is a unit of 3, so it bodyguards for other characters.
I see.
Yeah.
That's the thing, huh?
Yeah. And then if that unit is bodyguarded, the commander is bodyguarded by, say, a unit of bodyguard.
What? What?
Yeah.
You're breaking my mind right now. I can't even.
Yeah. As long as the 3-man is closer, the commander and the 2 drones is closer to the
Right.
unit.
'Cause-
Technically, you can't shoot the one behind it.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Because they took out that exception. Interesting. Drones are weird right now because, they're weird.
Isn't there a clause that says I don't count for lookout, sir?
That's what
It does
I'm
specifically
asking.
says there is specifically
Okay.
a bullet point that says I don't count for lookout.
So they
sir.
couldn't block.
Yes, couldn't block.
Okay.
Yeah.
But they can. You
But
can use them trail out.
Celestine can.
Celestine's style to drag out for that and to block. Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, the drones are weird because nowadays it's like just that and blast. Or no, it's not blast. Morale. But there's a lot of weird things that they do count where it seemed like they weren't going to count.
Wait, so I don't count for lookout, sir. But they do count for. If they do just count as a model, they would still be able to do like the block as a unit,
Right.
closest eligible target and stuff.
Well, isn't that the lookout? That is the lookout sir rule. Drones.
You might be right. I thought lookout, sir was meaning that unit being targeted.
Right. Drones. Ignored for morale. Yeah. Let's see. Actual wording. Drone models are ignored for the purposes of lookout sir rule, determining the unit's starting strength and whether it's below half strength, and then you determining its toughness, which also contains blah blah blah. So I think that means you can't block for.
Okay.
Lookout sir is like if a character is next to a unit is not closer, blah 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 with a unit that has 3 more models. That is the lookout sir. So I think they can't do that. Yeah.
Okay.
But you can totally string out.
Good.
Bodyguards behind a wall. I know, right?
And there was much rejoicing.
There was much rejoicing. We did a good thing today.
Thank you, Siege Roots. What would you guys say is the best loadout for Van Vets, SS, and THLCs? Are they going to do actions early, then full send later? Action score points now.
We heard a bit of an insight kind of on your thoughts on that.
Lightning Claw stonks way down. Stonks are in free
down.
fall. As long as there's so much more high toughness. The disparity between high toughness and low toughness has gotten bigger. It's either toughness 3 and 4, toughness 6 and 7. There's very few toughness 5. In fact, sorry. The opposite of what I just said. There's less of those, more of the toughness 5. Tau brings more toughness 5. Custodians is all toughness 5. EG, you're always going to be winning on 5s re-rolling, and half of the ones don't let you re-roll against. EG, they're
Those
bad.
targets, right.
They're bad. So just be strength 5 or better to start with, is my opinion. So power swords, thunderhammers, power fists.
There you go.
Thank you, Sleepy Gary. If LVO was next week and y'all had to play Tau, what sept are y'all playing and what units are y'all bringing? P.S. Mel, AOS, when, much love, guys. Do they know?
So you guys stew on your sept. I think
Yeah.
I totally should have made an announcement after the.
I didn't know if you weren't. I didn't know if you had to ask me.
That's
Because I haven't been asked
I was
yet.
thinking about other shows.
It's really bad that we totally forgot when Valentine's Day was.
No, we didn't forget when. Anyways, special announcement on Monday. Monday's Valentine's Day, naturally, and we are going to have a very special Valentine's Day special. Mel and I are going to be playing Age of Sigmar against each other. It's going to be our Valentine's Day. It's going to be date night. You're going to be rocking out your brand new Sylvaneth, totally finished, painted, converted bases. Every single base is converted. And I'm going to be playing my Grave Lords, which I'm super excited. I have a bunch of new stuff that you guys haven't seen at all. So that's going to be fun.
Is it normal that that's how I had to get a date on Valentine's Day. I had to stream with my husband.
I like that you wanted me to like ask you.
I wanted to be. I'm sorry. I wanted a little romance. I wanted a little wooing.
Yeah.
No.
I'll wine and dine you before we play Sigmar. Don't worry.
Right? Oh, I know. He's gonna make sure just so he can make sure he finally gets a win on me. Adrian has
right.
yet to beat me on the stream.
This is technically true.
That's cute.
It's literally true.
I'm like, it's not technically true. I was like, what shenanigans are you trying to? He's like, it's technically no, it's absolutely true. I will say though, I think this will probably end my reign, but we'll
Trying
see.
for it. I think the Grey Lords are advantaged, but we did either Edeneth versus me.
That's when the
then-
eels were super up.
Yeah, and then I also lost on Munchkin. Anyways, so that's Monday. So yeah, that's what's going on. And
So
that's
there
what
you
we're
go,
playing
Sleepy
at
Gary,
AOS.
just for you.
Seps, what would you guys do if you're playing right now today?
In LVO, with the knowledge of what all the other guys would bring,
Oh,
in,
interesting.
I'd probably go Borkan.
Borkan?
Yeah.
Yeah. that's
So
a
many
really great
custodians
play.
to fight through. Borkan just seems like the go.
I think I agree, but I also am kind of loving Tau Sept with all the named characters and the efficiencies and all that stuff. So, but I might be taking that knowing that it is worse and just that I enjoy playing it more. Yeah. What about you, John?
I don't know if I know enough to make like an educational decision.
That's fair.
Um,
Dileth makes Zach happy right now.
Dial,
Yeah.
Quick question. What time are we doing that? Because I teach till 6. So what time are we?
It'll be announced soon.
Great. Good to know. I don't know yet. No one has told me. Awesome. And I think this is the last one for the night.
Heyo.
Outrageous.
Thank you, Ogre Barbarian. Hey, yo, list review.
Cool.
Shield Captain, All Captain, Blade Captain, Champ. Sorry, I got too excited in the captains. 3 by Guard with 1 Shield, 2 Spear, 2 by 3 Sagittarium, 1 by 3 by 8. Nope, that's a 2 by 2 by 1 Alaris. All Vec, 2 Telemon. Any thoughts on building towards this for the Custo Ogres working on Guard right now?
Heck yeah. So yeah, Ogre Barbarian's been working on Custogers for a while now.
That's cool.
It's going to be super sick. All right, so.
Should go
unpacking
Alaris,
it.
kind of Blade Champ. A lot of points in troops. I have no idea how many Alaris. An infinite number of Alaris.
Infinite.
Right.
Indeterminate. 1 by 3 and 2 by 1. Okay. A 3 and then 2 singles.
2 singles. I like that.
Yeah, gives you some utility.
Yeah.
What's the A Vex? AL Vex?
Alaris Vexilla.
Lars, thank you. Cool.
Yeah. I wonder about the killing ability of this army. I'm assuming your fist and gun on the Telemons, which I
Yeah.
think is the best loadout.
Yep.
And it doesn't say what
Shield host?
shield host.
Yeah. I agree.
I'd have to guess this is Shadow Keepers. Makes the most sense to me with all the infantry, getting the -1 strength and then grinding in the middle. As for, like, this list doesn't have a lot of shooting, and the combat it has isn't, I mean, it's quite good. It's got the Brick of 3 Alaris, the 3 units. I'd break down a lot more. It needs some toys, is what I'm trying to say.
Make some shooting toys.
Yeah, with 3 characters, you want a unit of Wardens for bodyguard opportunities. So there's 1 unit of regular guard gone.
Yeah.
For you just change one of those into a unit of Wardens.
Right.
And how do you feel about 2 Telemons?
2 Telemons. I think generally speaking, the way to go with the Dreads now is a single one. You can give
Telemons,
Eternal
yeah.
Penitent,
Yeah.
stuff like that. So I love the Telemon. I'd probably say 2. I'd say 1 more competitively. If you want to make the performance more competitive, you can save some points on some of the things that we're talking about. Yeah, that'd be my take.
I'm assuming the reason he's doing these models is because this is the ogre scheme he's
Yes.
got. Like Man-Eaters become the Alaris or something, and the Sagittarium are the Cannon Boys.
Yeah.
I used to play ogres in fantasy.
Oh, there you
they were
go.
my baby. They were my baby. Did you guys play much fantasy?
Yeah, totally.
No, it's a 5 total Dread host. Ogre Barbarians
5
in
Dread
the
hosts.
in chat.
Dread Host.
Yeah, 5 total? 5 total. Oh, yeah, Terminators. Yeah, we
Yeah,
got
5
that.
Terminators,
Cool.
yeah.
And Dread Host. But the melee buffs.
Yeah. Yeah. I think this is a few too many points in the troops. I do like the 2 units of 3 Sagittarium. I do 2 Sagittarium, 1 unit of guard, and then I'd use those points plus 1 of the Telemons getting dropped to flesh out with bikes and wardens. And honestly, if you like the Dread Host for the melee buffs, I actually quite like the unit or 2 of 3-man Venatari. Or you can go for the 5 or the 6-man if you want to be able to do Rod and open that up
spicy.
for you. That does become a spicy option.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I'm into it.
Do you reckon you could model Noblars on top of each other to be your sister silence?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes, that'd be amazing.
You could do that.
Oh, that's
couldn't you?
amazing. They'll actually love that because Ogre Barbarian has been asking us for those conversion opportunities, which I also know is why the Telemon's in there
I was
because
about to
there's
say,
some
yeah.
spicy ogre stuff you can do with that, right? Awesome. Well said. I think we done
We
did it.
did
yeah?
it.
Wonderful. Well, you survived the good talk.
It was a good talk.
Yeah. So, as I like to do before we leave, just kind of a recap of what's coming up. As we just mentioned, Monday is going to be Valentine's Day. We're doing a AOS special for you 40K fans out there. It's not taking away from any 40K. But if you are AOS curious or frankly just want to see us mess around and make fools of ourselves, it's going to be fantastic. I know I'm dressing up for date night. I believe you're dressing up for date night.
It's going to be fabulous.
It's
We're
gonna
going
be
all
awesome.
in.
Yeah, it's
Come
gonna be-
join us for the lovely Valentine's Day date that I get.
we will, yeah, right. We'll post the exact time, but I'll tell you it's going to be 6 or 7 Pacific Standard Time as usual. Members, we're going to get the vote up immediately after this. I think we'll kind of give a bunch of options and see what you guys feel like for next Tuesday's game. Also, coming up next Saturday, you were just with the Dice Check boys hanging out.
Yes.
Now they're coming here.
I know. I know.
So
it's
we're
going to be good.
I'm so excited. So Matt is going to come up, better known as Magikarp Use Fly. If you haven't seen Dice Check or any of their stuff, they're hilarious.
You have to check it out.
And,
It's awesome.
We've been trying to do this for a while, and they've been trying to do this for. We saw them at SoCal, we saw them at LVO. We're like, gotta do something. So Matt's gonna be coming up, and we're gonna be playing next Saturday. He's gonna be playing Tyranids. Very excited. And I'm gonna be playing against him. Haven't quite figured out what the matchup is, but we're working on some fun and memey stuff as you do with Dice Check. So that's gonna be it for us. Adam, thank you again for hanging out, chatting, playing.
My absolute pleasure and honor, guys.
Our pleasure too. Thank you. All right, y'all. We'll catch you next time on the Tabletop. Bye.
Bye.